and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Barella.
Here.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Osteen.
Here.
Alderman Collins.
Here.
Mayor Hermanson and Phyllis Morway.
Here.
Thank you.
She just walked in.
Here she comes.
All right, Alderman Rose is walking in, so I'm gonna slowly say, thank you all for coming to budget meeting for three, maybe four, we'll see. But that's, it's a little after 3:00, and I'm gonna just turn this over to the city administrator, Deborah, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I have printed off a tentative agenda for you. So we will start, first thing we're going to go over is the capital projects that were budgeted for fiscal year of 25. To talk about things that are not going to get done or will be carried over into fiscal year 26. So I took this directly out of the budget book. You can turn to page 3 in your packet. That's a printout, but I also have it up on the screen. So anything that's highlighted in blue are items that are no longer needed, or the department has determined that they would like to.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but, all right, for page numbers, what's the best way to follow along?
The third page.
Like this thing here?
Yes,
Of the-
third page.
portion.
Yes, correct, in the packet.
Is that front and back, or?
Every piece of paper.
Every piece of paper.
Okay. Very good.
So, and then the ones that are highlighted in green are the ones that will be carried over into 25. So the first item that comes up in blue are the 3 salt spreaders. Ron, would you like to speak to why we're going to purchase this?
Sure, salt spreaders are just a simple like seed spreader that you're gonna utilize, but we use just fine with that. So never mind, it was an idea, but we're probably more efficient.
The parking lot ceiling and striping, that will be a carryover into fiscal year 26. Ron, do you want to talk about what happened?
Sure, we had that budgeted for this year, and then I forgot to carry over the alarm upgrade from last year to this year, which happened to be the same amount of money. So in talking to the engineer at the time, he said, yeah, the parking lot in the back, you can make it another year before sealing and striping it. So I would push that to next year, and let's take care of the alarms, more of a life safety issue. So I pushed that so that we can get the alarm upgrade, and they didn't forget to carry it.
The next item is the iPad from the Parks Department. Eric, would you like to talk about that?
We ended up getting an iPad from Public Works, just did not need it.
And then the city park flagpole will be carried over to fiscal year 26. The next item is the 911 dispatch relocation. That's an ongoing project. Part of it will get done this year, but the majority of it will carry over into fiscal year 26. Engineering, we did not.
Do you have, where are we at with expenditures year to date on that?
There's been nothing. It's out to bid right now, I believe.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Devin, we're going to get you a microphone and turn it on because Phyllis is having a hard time.
Okay.
Jim, one of the, do we have like, when do we expect that to be completed? March of, oh, it's all gonna be done by March.
Didn't we spend some of that money at least on the engineering or something to do with that project? It has not been invoiced yet. But we did spend, we will have some expense this year for sure, but probably up to next year. So you'll just have to play with your numbers as the year.
Yeah, we've already accounted for that. The inspector computer, that wasn't needed. I think we had an extra on hand that Michael was able to get over to JD so that we didn't end up buying that inspector computer. Those 4 dispatch security cameras, they'll be part of the dispatch relocation. So they won't come out of this year's budget. They'll be part of the overall project. onto the second page, which is on the back. Flip it over. Under transportation, there's just 3 projects that'll all be carried over. The Safe Streets for All, that's in progress, but won't nearly be built out by the end of the year. The Highway 42 and the Goldie Pearl sidewalk projects are still trying to get easements. So those will both be carried over into fiscal year 26. Everything else on the transportation budget is either in progress or already completed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
On the Golden Pearl,
Mhm.
do we make sure that we're carrying over the revenue side of that?
Yes. In fact, I need to check on that. I'm not entirely sure we haven't already received that money.
You have
Yes,
some of it,
some of it.
and maybe,
I need to check on
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yes,
But I just want to make sure we're carrying the revenue, because I know we received some of it.
yes,
I don't know how much.
Devin,
yes.
excuse me, what is Salt Barn?
It's the salt barn roof that's out at the transportation department where
Yeah,
they
what
hold
is
their
it?
salt. The roof is deteriorated.
That's,
Which covers the salt that they spread out on the roads.
Yeah.
All winter time.
It's the building they hold their salt in.
okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I'd never heard of that expression.
Yes.
We approved that replacement last year.
Do it.
We had approved the replacement of the salt barn roof last year.
Yeah, it's budgeted for this year, but it's currently being looked at to determine whether
Okay.
it's best to replace or repair.
So that's gonna be done this year yet, or?
Yeah.
We went through quite an extensive discussion on that thing.
Yeah. They're currently doing research right now.
But- Was there a final determination, are we sourcing it now, the replacement or repair? Is that-
That's what we're talking about right now.
If I remember correctly, it wasn't just replacement of the roof, there were issues with the joists
Correct.
and a lot of the metal that's.
Yes. Corroded due to the salt.
Yes.
Yes.
So it wasn't just a roof, it was
No.
more extensive.
Structural repairs to the whole structure. Any other questions on transportation? Okay, on to water. The Gulfview water loop project will probably carry over into fiscal year 26. The contractor that's doing that job is also doing the Margaritaville sewer project. And we're gonna do the Margaritaville one first. So it's possible that this one will carry over. And the new east well, the engineering for that will probably carry over into early of next year as well.
Has that been started?
Have you,
Be soliciting proposals this week from our new on-call
we had to wait until the contracts were signed with all the engineering firms that we are now utilizing. Everything else in the water department has been purchased or is in progress. Any questions on that department?
Yes, Devin.
Uh-huh.
Regarding the well,
Yes,
we've got it listed as it was an expense we didn't incur for this budget year, but we don't have that included as a carryover next year.
it is.
But it's not in the carryover column.
This is this year's budget. This is the fiscal year 25 budget. It hasn't been redone yet. Yeah. On the sewer side, the wastewater master plan, we're again negotiating with our on-call consultants to get that started. And same thing with the Grand Blaze ductile iron inspection. They're doing research on that.
So
These-
we'll come up with a response. The Grand Blaze thing, what the input is or bill for 26 budget then,
Yes,
so it's gonna carry over.
probably. The actual construction of it will be, yes, if there's any.
Right.
Right now, we're just trying to get with the engineers to determine what's the best way to move forward.
And help my memory here, you put that out and it came in a whole lot more than what we budgeted,
Yes.
like how much? Double?
252, it was 275 just for them to mobilize, wasn't it? It was well over budget just for them to show up, let alone do the work. And then these 5 lift stations that were listed to be engineered, we've determined that it's really not necessary to engineer all of these. This lift station 30-5 rehab that was engineered and is currently under construction, we can utilize that same design and redo it for other lift stations. And so these will not need to be engineered. We'll just utilize the current plans that we have and modify them for other lift stations.
Hey, Devin?
Uh-huh.
What's this, is it 200,000 for the water master plan?
Wastewater master plan,
Did we already approve that, or is
Yep.
did?
it's in the current budget.
It's being out for bid right now, isn't it?
Yeah, we just solicited proposals today.
We have award.
I would accept it.
Yeah, this is from the current budget. This sheet right here is from the budget we're currently in right now.
I was thinking that there was some kind of 10-year plan that was proposed, and I thought somehow that slipped through. I think it was sometimes.
Okay.
Just for way back to.
The engineering opportunity, to call it, do you see that as an ongoing thing that we can utilize in other lift stations? That we have like lift stations rather than having to engineering each one separately?
Yeah, that's the idea. We now have a template. We can use that on these other lift stations. We have, without doing design for each one.
Very good. Great work.
Ambulance, everything was purchased. And the airports, the master plans are, what would you say, 95% done, at least? 99% done. We're waiting on MoDOT, right, to approve those? And then the runway overlay is ongoing right now. That should be done by the end of the year, so.
It's going to be completed next year. 26. It won't be completed this year yet, will it? Oh, they're going to do it in the runway?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're going to, haven't done yet? Oh, okay. Good. Okay.
So that's the status of all the capital projects that were budgeted for this year. Are there any additional questions or comments about the status of those?
I'll just make a comment that very impressive, from the saving in the public works department, completion of a lot of projects, so I commend everybody. This is, I think, a very impressive year.
All right.
Would you say with some of these projects being eliminated, has that been reflected in your projected imbalance?
Yes.
With the documents that you've already given us, that big piece have been included, they're not due, and the money is.
Back in the pot, yes.
Okay.
Okay. If anybody has any other questions, we'll move on. So the next thing we're going to do is go over the capital that has been presented to you over the last several board meetings. And that's the last page of your packet, but I will have it up here on the screen as well. So these are the capital projects or items that have been requested by the departments. These are new purchases, not replacements, not maintenance items. These are new only. For general fund, I made the cutoff at 25,000 this year because we didn't have near as many requests. So anything that was above 25,000 as a capital line item that's new is listed. Anything in public works, transportation, water, or sewer is above 50,000. So all of these items have been presented to you during the board meetings over the last couple months.
Can you clear up what difference in what is highlighted?
So green is sales tax, pink is enterprise funds.
Probably once they're in the grant fund.
Oh, okay. So the reason I included, and that's good, okay, thank you for bringing that up. There's a new ambulance being requested in the ambulance department. We are currently subsidizing the ambulance for fiscal year 26 over $1 million. So I felt like since general fund is funding the majority of that department, it should be placed in the ranking along with other general fund items. Same thing with transportation. Transportation subsidizes both airports. Lacey Fine is $500,000 this year. Grand Glaze would be $425,000. So I felt like since that department is funding and subsidizing another department, that we list them in with the funding source. We will be coming to you shortly with some ideas on funding the ambulance. At this rate, this is not feasible long-term. We need to find a way to help it sustain itself.
You're
Without.
We're not gonna. I've been emergency services long enough, been budgeting long enough, to know you're not going to the ambulance services like the police department. It's not going to be self-sufficient. It's a service we provide.
If I could, I was approached by Melissa Hunter over at the hospital on that. Who she is, obviously Ron does. We graduated together. But Rebecca and I are going over to tour. They got a new ambulance in, and she thinks that she has a way to team up together to help our bottom line on this and to increase their productivity with the ambulances. I have no idea what she's got in mind, but she knows that hospital inside and out. So after Rebecca and I meet with her, I'll just come talk to you and see if there's something plausible there. Maybe have a meeting with her.
Sure. Yeah, me and Chief. Sure.
Yeah, and she comes.
We've had previous discussions on EMT services, because basically, I wouldn't say it's a money loser, but it's a service we provide that is never been profitable. We had looked previous years on trying to basically eliminate that department and turn it over to Camden County, but I think the feasibility of doing that basically made it a no-go, because obviously EMT services are contingent on emergency timing, et cetera, and turn it over to Camden County, it would have like tripled the amount of response time. We've discussed it many times. There's just no way really around the fact that it's always going to be in the red for us as a service.
You may not. There's a lot of discussion there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the city missed an opportunity in 2001, because at that point, the Camden County Ambulance District was formed, and the city was approached, and at that time, politics said, no, the city didn't want to do that, so that's spilled it out. But there's a lot of discussion. There's a lot of discussion.
Sure.
Too much time for, not enough time for what we have time. Kevin, you mentioned that anything under 25,000 in general.
Correct.
And 50,000 basically in public works. So those new capital items that are under that amount, what are you doing with them? Is that something that
We'll
the
go over
staff
them
is going to
next.
make up the decision, or the board won't make?
No, we're going over those next. So after we do this
Oh.
ranking, we'll go over the
So you're
next
going
items.
in two different chapters. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I thought maybe.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you say these are ranked in order of what the staff feels is?
No, the top is ranked by fund.
Oh, okay. I thought you put them in order like what you got.
No, no.
I was like, that's strange.
Nope.
All right.
So let's start with general fund. Does anybody have any of those items that they want to go over again? The only thing that I see on there that has not been presented would be the budgeting software, and I will personally speak to this one. April and I and Carrie have worked ridiculous hours to prepare this budget document in an Excel file, which is what I sent you guys on Friday. It is exhausting. Everything has to be entered. It's all data entry. I will give a huge shout out to Keegan. She has done a lot of this data entry for me this year. But it would behoove us drastically to get a budgeting software that can integrate with our financials, where we're not having to do these kinds of projections and and it will prepare all that for us. They also have what April and Carrie and I have researched are also budgeting softwares that help us turn in a better budget award product. They're built to make sure that they check all those boxes. So I would greatly appreciate getting a budgeting software to make this a smoother process in years to come.
Yes. I assume too, there's a lot of checks and balances, so lots and less errors.
Yes. Absolutely.
Entry errors.
Yes.
So many people sharing one document versus
Yes.
everybody can just log into the software and enter their.
That's what I was gonna say too, use an Excel and change something somewhere, if they were to go and change.
Yep, change it somewhere else. Yep. And then if Keegan was working in the spreadsheet, I can't. I can only look at it. And so we had to make sure that we were coordinating and never trying to mess with the same document at the same time.
I've got a question on two. This is for Mr. Bean. So from your perspective on budgeting software, that's easy integration with the current systems. How much additional cost or time does that involve for you? I see $25,000 one-time implementation, but obviously, does that include labor, hours, staffing on your side?
So I'm going to be honest, I just heard about it at the 11th hour, and I've been told very little about it. I'm sure that Travis and I could do our best to handle it, but I am proposing a new employee as well. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it would be easy, because that would behoove me.
It sounds great in theory, but ultimately it falls back.
Yeah, and to speak truthfully, I haven't dove in all the details to see exactly what it is, but most cloud-based systems are set up as pretty easy, but the integration with the other piece, I mean, that's a whole other ballgame itself. So I honestly can't speak on it.
When Carrie and April and I were sitting through the demos, we made sure that it integrated with Encode. It can't just be in some random budgeting software that can't integrate with what we already have.
And what I will say, in any kind of software integration, is doing it at the beginning and set it retroactively, as long as they know in order for us to pay this and to incorporate, we have to have this integration up front. Too many times we'll buy a piece of software and then 6 months down the road, like, oh, we really needed that data out of PubWorks. But they have no reason to help us at that point. So as long as we take that approach, it should be feasible.
Is this software good staff-wide, or is this
Yes.
just for?
Yep, they can use staff-wide. They can go in and enter their own budgets. They can enter all the notes. Next year, we would be able to display it in its form and go through each department and see all the notes. There wouldn't be any notes off to the side of a spreadsheet or.
It just makes it a little easier to swallow the pill.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has access to it.
Unlimited number of users that we can create in there.
Right. And it will update in live time. So it will pull in our financials all the time and update it. So.
Anything to help that process out, because I know when I made, of course, this is on my age, when I made the switch over from the yellow pads to Excel, I was trying to say.
Okay, so $40,000 a year seems like outrageous to me for software, so. Anybody have?
That was my next question.
That was the highest one. Like we
Right.
demoed 4 different ones,
Right.
and most of them were less than that, like around 20, 25, but depending on which one we end up going with.
Sometimes their where one-time implementation was much higher, but their annual was less, and vice versa.
With the maintenance fee, basically, that is the vendor's fee, right?
The one-time
40,000.
implementation.
Well, no,
Oh.
40,000 annual.
Yeah, that's the vendor's fee.
Subscription fee.
Yeah, your subscription.
Yeah, that seems really crazy for.
You would be surprised how much.
Which ones?
OpenGov was one.
OpenGov, ClearGov, 2 others.
Can't remember their names. Those were the 2 that I think we liked the
Yeah,
best. The
they
other
were the-
2 weren't great.
And without seeing it in front of me, but a lot of that is the maintenance and support throughout the year as well. That's a significant part of any software charge. So you're actually getting the utility itself, but any maintenance that you need throughout the year, that's where they make a lot of their money as well.
Gravity. And MDSS.
And our leading candidate is what program? Loop.
I was stuck between OpenGov and ClearGov. I think. April has a clear winner, don't you? It's been like 4 months since we've done this.
Yeah, I want
I
to.
would just, I'm just curious because we're proposing this budget item, but we don't have like a definitive
I would assume
cost associated with which company we want to go with.
Yeah, and we had to do our research so we could
Yeah.
propose it in the budget,
Just
but
curious if we finalize who wants
I want to see
decide.
them all at once. You know, they all are through a cooperative, so we would be able to go through it.
I believe the state uses OpenGov. Right?
I mean, we currently have an OpenGov product already. That's what Cartograph is, so, but they were the most expensive, to be honest, so. And they weren't as, I mean, the other ones I thought were just as effective, so.
Right.
Before we
we-
would bring that to you, we would, you know, do another demo with all of them and back to back. We did these like months apart from each other, just trying to prepare for this budget, so.
And we might even bring in some of the department heads to look at it as well to see which one they think is more user friendly, because they'll ultimately have to use it as well.
The only problem I have with what you presented, I support this, and I realize that you're saying it's gonna be between, 25 to 40,000. If it ends up coming available, and you've got a number that are available in that 20,000 range, then you've ended up putting an extra 20,000 into the budget that we can't dedicate to some other project because we budgeted. I mean, I realize you got to budget a significant amount in each project, but if every budget is over budgeted, projected over budgeted by 10 or 20%,
Right.
then we just don't have that initial amount of stuff that we're able to budget at the beginning of the year. That-
I think the lowest one we had on annual maintenance was 28,000, wasn't it?
That sounds right.
So, and 40 was the highest. So, I mean, we can take it down to, 34 or something like that.
You see my
Yes.
philosophy?
Yeah.
It's not that.
And I mean, if the board ultimately ranks that high and we want to move forward between now and when budget is approved, we can do our due diligence and narrow that number down.
They can choose.
The bigger picture
Yeah.
Kevin's trying to get at is we were focused on one specific line item, but it's an overall.
Right.
If we're overestimating by $10, $12, $20,000 per project, well then it's gonna add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
We're not gonna budget.
Absolutely.
allocation for other departments and projects. So,
Yep.
That's why
Absolutely.
we're drilling you down on have we picked the company, but at actual cost, not just projection.
I like
which
Chris,
is
I
hard.
want as much presence as we can get.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Sig Park, additional surveillance cameras. Why is it so much? How many cameras are we putting in?
No, 3, right? Is that what the bid was
I think it was 3. I don't have the quote right in front of me, but I believe so.
for? So they have to,
Remove that.
it's line of sight, so they have to set up a receiver to bounce the signal down that way. We don't have any eyes past the section standard, basically. Getting quite a bit of assets down there with the golf cart and people shop and make improvements, but
I completely understand and support that. I just was surprised at the 40,000.
Yeah, I think a lot of that cost is just getting the technology over there because there is no infrastructure down there. So you're using the line of sight to extend down to the other side. So I don't think the cost is really associated with the physical cameras themselves. Don't get me wrong, they're significant, but in that $40,000 grand scheme, it's probably 20% of it. A lot of it is the man hour and the infrastructure side to span the quarter mile to the other side.
Because cameras aren't all that expensive.
Nothing like that, no.
the 7 cameras, I think, that we had installed 2 years ago on this area, $38,000.
And I will say on that exact quote, I think Beischer included the man hours in there. I think that was kind of a blurred area where it's not just the physical capital side. I think he just sent it over and didn't separate that. So that was a total project cost. So it's not like we're paying $40,000 in the capital hardware and then paying another $20,000 to set it up. It's the whole thing.
And you already got soft bids on this?
I'm sorry?
You already got soft bids budgeting? as far as costs?
Correct. Yes, sir. Yep.
And what was the company reference?
Beischer. Yeah, they manage our security system.
My other question was, what does the drone do? Is that police?
It's for the police department, but it can also be used for public works and
Economic development.
economic development. We would use it for searching for missing persons. We have a camera. If we have to go out and do search warrants, we need our area view what we're going after.
That's not just 30,000 for a drone, that's for the equipment to operate it. Because drones are cost so.
So it can be operated from any department, is what you're saying,
It'd be primarily police departments, but the other.
in case the need.
But you would share.
Sure. Yeah, we get along well with that.
At a cost of 30,000, I would suggest dialing down on who actually will operate that drone as opposed to, oh, all the departments will use it. Well,
No, there would
you
be,
have to
a-
specify.
you have to be a
which
drone
individual
operator.
departments will
You have to be
use
a
it.
licensed pilot for operations, so I think.
Correct.
You need to know.
Correct.
Are there any other questions on any of the general fund projects that are listed? I can pull up the old presentations that were done during the board if anybody wants to see those. If not, let's take 10 minutes for you guys to rank the general fund. Does that work? Okay.
And we're doing that on this.
Yep, on your paper that's in your packet.
One for whatever.
One is
One is your highest ranked purchase. Yes.
Something I'll share with the board at the end of September. Considering the dog park stafford, 43,000 people have visited the dog park by the end of September.
What'd you say, Eric?
About 30,000 here, right there.
There's one by the shield, right, in the hills.
So as you pull into the dog park parking lot, our plan was to put it. That's close to where we have
Did we not say, we are.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I totally got that out. You're seeing the break button.
Okay.
Totally. That's a real motor. So not only do I know what it is, but I definitely know what it is. I just admitted to
Right, right.
That's that vehicle for the park. It's under utility.
done first.
Hey, can I copy your work?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that means you put less thought into it, so don't worry.
So, okay, so when you have like the subsidy under the ambulance, that's how much our general fund is already given to that, not counting the 425.
No, it's including the 425.
Okay, so it basically doubles that subsidy?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
This, I knew, okay, I knew that it was.
How do I get it to stop?
And it's about these presentation that, so. Okay.
Can you pause this?
Which one are you?
Yeah, when you were like, Lisa, why do they want to?
The additional ones, the wonderful staff.
So now they don't have enough.
Chief, can you answer why you need
Mayor.
to
Mayor,
You're new at your
would you ask for a break to do this so we can pause the camera?
We're gonna go on break.
We're going break.
Because in years past, we were short, downsized.
Everybody ready for the next section? So our next section is transportation.
Can I offer a brief suggestion?
Absolutely.
Because Alderman Collins was talking too. A couple of the things that are not familiar. Can you briefly tell us?
Sure.
If anything that we, of each one, just what we talked about what it's for, just briefly.
Sure. I'll let each department head do that.
And I don't mean to extend the meeting too long, but just so we could refresh our memory. would be great.
I'll turn it over to Rob to go over all his items.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh boy, here we go.
The first one's gonna be a snowplow and spreader for an F-550. That is gonna go on a truck that, if you look down, you'll see it split in between, water and sewer for the truck. They want a dump truck, so with that being said, I would like to use it to plow snow, so we're gonna put it in as a salt plow and spreader. The next one is,
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure, absolutely.
So, if we don't get the dump truck that's down here, then we don't get the, okay,
I don't-
just making sure they're connected, okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Nichols Road, concrete culverts. And I'm gonna put Ash Road, concrete culvert. These two areas has got, two culverts that need to be, well, one culvert at each road, but they're regular, metal culverts that are about to fail, and we'd like to put box culverts in. That will be a contract. The contractor, we kind of had an estimate on the contract, and you can see that on the side. So both these culverts, one of them's down Ash Road, one of them's down Nichols Road. Any questions on that?
Yeah,
Sure.
a concrete culvert, how big is it for $350,000?
They're gonna have to do the excavation and all that, build a temporary road off to the side on at least one of them, maybe on
To
another
alter
one.
the traffic to
Correct,
do that?
correct.
So with labor and then the construction of that?
And the cost of the culvert. The culvert's really a box culvert, is what it's gonna be, for all the drainage that it's catching.
I don't know what a box culvert is.
Basically the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
but
I was just astonished at how much it is.
yes, that's kind of an estimate what they gave me, so, you know, so it
Is
could
that
be
similar to what they did down at City Park?
correct. Yes, exactly. Same kind of culvert, probably a little smaller, not as long, probably.
And these are immediate needs, correct?
These are needs,
You said
future needs that we're gonna have to address pretty quick.
You'd say the existing metal ones are failing,
Correct.
but I'm just curious on, can we get another year out of them? Is it an immediate need, i.e. they're gonna fail?
Probably within the next few years, we need to do it, but, I mean, that's a judgment call. We're
If we
hoping.
don't do it, it'll fail next year if we do it next year.
Well, I'm just curious, because number one, between the two culverts, it's $750,000.
Yeah.
Correct.
$700,000.
Yeah.
With a $50 million budget, we're spending $1 million just on two culverts. So I'm just trying to say,
Thank you.
can we push them for further years? Is it an immediate need, i.e. we need to have this done now? Or one of them is basically in dire need over the other that's easier to swallow, $350,000.
Correct.
Culvert be made out of anything else? Sounds like the material isn't.
Well,
And that's what I'm asking is, that's
Yeah.
a huge part of our budget this year. Look at $1
Correct.
million, almost $1 million, $50 million.
yes, I would rather go with concrete culverts because we won't have to worry about it in our lifetime.
Okay.
That's what, fix it and be done, walk away from it. Will they last? That, like you said, it might not, but, I would say within the next 3 years, we probably need to address this, so.
But we're not behind the eight ball though, if we were to say, let's just do one this year and then.
I think your statement's correct there. I think we're okay. Like it's gonna collapse anytime soon.
That's what I was
I do
concerned.
not think so.
Okay.
That being said, which one do you feel is more dire need?
Ash Road.
Dear.
Yeah.
That shows one,
That's what we're looking at.
even knowing the increased traffic on Nichols coming down that site.
Well, Nichols Road, this is gonna be at the park side,
Okay.
not on the main road. It's going down to the park.
Okay.
So, but yes, Ash Road would be what I would do first. Proctor Drainage Improvement. There's a citizen down there that, we are having water issues down there on Proctor. And, he's come to us a few times and talked to us in the future, and we kind of, I don't know, tabled it, I'd call it, because we didn't have the money for it, but we're bringing that up.
Where is that at?
I don't have the address correct. Do you, Jeff?
Yeah, I remember it offhand, but it's.
Back right, first watch.
Down by reserve.
Down by Reserve, I believe the address
Oh.
I gave it to Jeff was like 1230 something, 1260 something. I specifically went over this.
I drove past reserve to get there.
This is a project that was in the budget and was approved in the budget and was supposed to have been done a couple of years ago. And that's why I made such a big issue about wanting to make sure the board was aware of any projects that wasn't going to get done, because this project just didn't get done that year and didn't get carried over for some reason, mistake, something.
You said it's past reserve?
If you go down, well, I went the other way, but if you go down to the reserve and you go past reserve, heading towards the lake,
Oh, yeah.
it's on the right-hand side,
I've seen
about
that.
4
Sure.
or 5 houses. I was just over there. And then
On the way to the reserve restaurant.
And it was at least 90% design.
you know, so
Any more questions on that? Osage Beach Parkway ADA sidewalk upgrades. And if you note that, Special Road District will add 30K into that. You guys probably are up to par on the, sidewalks and on the parkway, so we're gonna add $30 or 35,000 of our money to that to help out on
So the
working on that.
65 includes the 30 for the park district, road district. Okay.
So the actual budget impact is gonna only be 35,000.
Yes.
I mean, I realize you got a budget of
Yes.
65, but 30 of the
Yes.
1,000, so it's only gonna impact the
35,
30.
correct.
35.
Of course, that's Lacey Fine. You already
Yep.
talked about that, correct? All right.
Do you guys want Ty to go ahead and talk about his fuel trucks or?
Each one of those, I know they both need it, and that these numbers, used.
These numbers right here, vendor fuel.
Yeah, those are big numbers that I put in there that I found, recently. That's always subject to change. But, the newer to us jet truck that I bought from Lacey Fund 2 years ago, I currently have it shipped off. It's getting worked on right now. I don't know how to describe it to you. Halfway worked this year. It wasn't completely functional, but it was functional enough that we could sell some. This is at Lacey Fund. So, this is a moving target, obviously. I tried to get an update on the repair work today, and we're still having troubles with it. Hopefully, they're calling in another mechanic to run some diagnostics on it. I'm planning on it being fixed. If not, then I'm probably going to get a new truck. If I do get it repaired and you guys want to keep that truck as a backup, I can move it over to Grand Blaze and we can surplus the 2 older ones that I have over there now. One of them is scheduled to be surplus this year. That was kind of the scheme of things. We would keep an older one as a backup that I would use over at Grand Blaze in case we needed it. So that's where we're on that. I just can't give you a definitive answer that I need a new truck tomorrow because I need to find out what they can do with the ones that I've got in the ship now. The Grand Blaze truck that I want to replace is the last one in the fleet. That is the oldest.
I mean, it's still operational. I probably had it in the shop more this year than I have ever. But, you know, it's still operational because we've repaired it, so.
So at some point we could, when claims came in this year, they half of them wouldn't fuel up because you had to go over the weight of the fuel,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
those, some of those people are just like, nope, we're gonna go somewhere else, right?
Correct, yeah.
So I just want to kind of throw this out to everyone. I feel like I voted the wrong way on this, whether it was a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was. I think we should get a brand new, state of the art, good fuel truck and start getting that airport going in the right direction and put money into it. I know that we don't own it yet, don't know if we're ever going to, but I think we should not get a half-ass one. Let's do it the right way this time. And then surely between that truck that you're repairing now and 2 other trucks, one of those should be able to work for Grand Lakes, correct?
Well, yes and no, because these are 2 different trucks. The one I'm asking for at least you find is a jet truck. The truck at Grand Blaze is an F-gas truck, so it's a different animal.
You have to have 2 trucks in each state.
Correct.
Yeah, you have 2 different trucks. You can't have it all in one. You have to have 2 different trucks.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'm 100% all on board writing down number 1 next to the DC Fine
You're
truck.
kidding.
Not the soul of the Grand Glades for other reasons. I'm sure everybody knows. But we do need to have operating fuel trucks.
I would just say that, you know, we need trucks. We made a mistake in the past years, but, and I spoke in favor of some used ones because I don't know that we have enough money to get both of these this year. We need 2 reliable fuel trucks there to replace what we have. That's why I was in favor of putting the same amount of money out there and buying 2 that were 5 to 10 years old and you know, start to make that step.
And that's enough.
I'd love to buy a new one. I just don't know if we got enough money to buy a new one.
Right.
And then next year we gotta get another new one.
Yeah.
I support we need it. I just don't know which is the best financial.
How much did we spend on repairs of these trucks last year?
The current jet truck, I think we spent $3,000 in repairs on it last year. This year on the current work order that's being done so we can have the single point in play that we didn't have this summer, which is probably going to be close to $6,000.
Okay.
Before it's over with.
More important is the fact that not so much repairs, the fact that they're sitting there without being able to sell the fuel, and that's what we make
I
our money.
understand.
We're a bad gas station.
Hey, Si, comment with a question. Yes, this is a money producer for us. So the question is, if you took the total amount of gas between both airports, what percentage of gas would you guess would be sold at least in fine compared to Grand Lake?
I'd have to update my numbers when I was going through this process a few years ago. That particular jet truck at Lacey Fine, just the jet truck at Lacey Fine, contributed to over 65%, close to 70% of my income between both airports. Just that one truck. As far as just across the board, Green Blaze probably sells half as much gas as Lacey Fine does. Jet fuel, I can't even compare it on that. Lacey Fine sells 90% more.
It makes sense.
So I've got a couple questions. So what I'm picking up though is if it comes down to fuel trucks, obviously DC Fine is your priority, correct?
Correct.
All right, then for you, from looking at the top 5 projects though, just my reiterating, when it comes to culverts, you're saying Ash Road is more value than Nichols.
Correct.
I'm not trying to sway any rankings, but I'm looking at what our immediate needs, and it would be nice, and we probably should do this further, if we got more input from the staffing on how they prioritize items as opposed to basically just blanket and giving it to the board. I'd like to get feedback from the staffing department heads on what is their immediate need, what is dire for them versus needs versus wants, basically. Anyway, that's all.
Okay, can I ask one more question? Sorry. So Lacey Fine currently costs us $500,000 from other things.
We have to subsidize, I guess, $500,000 for 26.
So if we didn't have a fuel truck, jet fuel truck the whole year, how much does that number go up? Does that make sense?
No, it would actually go down. Your subsidy would go down by 250,000.
Okay, the subsidy is 250,000 if we don't buy this truck.
Correct.
If we don't have a truck, how much does the 250 go up?
That would be based on the maintenance of the trucks that we have.
You look at the budget projected for 2026, and you look at the revenue side for Lacey Pine Airport, and you look at jet fuel, propane line item, we're projecting $700,000 a week.
Okay, so it produces $700,000 of
That's the
revenue.
income, and there's probably roughly a $354,000 cost to buy the fuel. So we're making, so if you eliminate that fuel truck out there completely,
Yeah.
you're gonna eliminate about $300,000 worth of income.
Thank you, that's the question.
That's rough, sorry, just pulling that.
No, I appreciate that, thank you.
And right now, there's plans to literally leave.
Yeah.
Right, I knew that, okay, thank you.
I'm rank.
Time to rank. Let's do 5 minutes this time. 4 o'clock.
Right on first.
All right, take 5 minute break.
Yeah, 5 minutes. There you go. Okay, we're gonna skip over the public works shared portion for right now. I had a huge error, hence why I need budgeting software. Just saying. So we're gonna move on to water, and I will let Caleb talk on his 4 items.
Hello. So the first thing would be the tapping machine. That is something that would be able to tap 3 to 12 inch. That would prevent us from having to do shutdowns if we're doing any kind of main extension.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
If we're doing any kind of main extension, like what we did on Gut Ridge, we had to contract out and they were able to tap it live without having to disturb anybody in the distribution system. The west side leak study is what we just did with McKim and Creed, which they found roughly 30 leaks. So we're asking or recommending to do that again on the west side to help with water loss. The Phillips, excuse me.
They did it on the east side?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, and we're asking.
In budget discussions last year, we discussed water loss and what dollars that amounted to, because there was a comparative what we billed for usage versus what we basically come through. Does anybody remember what that number was?
It was we knew it was well worth this study.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot.
It was like 30% of our water that went out of our systems basically was not billed for usage. So
Way above
leaks
the average of nationwide, what we're losing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there because we had the discussion last year.
Yep.
Right.
Obviously, we are losing a third of the water we're pumping and it's not getting billed.
Right.
Caleb, I'm sorry, out of the leak study that they did, and they found what you said, like 30 leaks or whatever.
Yes.
Are you guys fixing those, or they fix those?
We're fixing those, yes. The third item is Phillips to Captain's Loop. Phillips, it's a 2-inch main at the moment. We have been there roughly 8 times in the past 3 or 4 years, just fixing the leak. And it's just getting to the point, I think it's time to probably upgrade it to a 6-inch, make a loop to help with that. And then the fourth item would be a new well on the east side, where I'm sure you guys remember where Cochrane did our study, and our wells are pumping all the time through the summer. So that would help with cutting it down from roughly 14 to 15 hours a day to roughly 9 hours a day or per well. And that would be a recommendation.
Why does it matter if it's pumping 20 hours a day?
Well, if the reason we need one, is if something was to happen to one of our wells right now, we would not be able to keep up with demand.
Okay.
We are roughly pumping on the east side in the ballpark of about 3 million gallons between all of our 4 wells over there.
Okay.
And if one goes down, that's pumping 600 gallons a minute, and we're trying to rely on one that's pumping 240 gallons a minute. It's going to put a lot of strain on them.
Okay. Thank you.
So is our backup plan on the west side better because of the hospital?
Well, the east side right now, there's just so much construction going on over there, and there's more growth over there with the Bass Pro and everything else that's going to be going in. I'm assuming that they are going to be tying on to city water and abandoning their current wells.
I think that's going to be mandated.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, just hypothetically, when would this be deliverable? I mean, it takes a year, 2 years to build these things. I have no idea.
To drill a well, they could have that done within a few weeks. It's building a tower.
Build a tower, flying the water.
Right.
So,
but I think, if I'm remembering right, the way that Cochrane had it was they were going to have it pumped directly into the system. They would have it where it had so much pipe in the ground for contact time before it got into our actual distribution system until we could build a new tower site.
That the engineering regime that Jeff, you were talking about, you're getting ready to let for bid?
Yes, that's correct.
So the engineering, so this is the construction.
That's just construction.
So the engineering, we are letting, we're gonna assign that to one of our.
Correct.
And that'll probably take them 3 or 4 months or something.
Probably.
We already budgeted for that.
Correct.
Yeah, we're doing the engineering and then
This year.
this is, we'll do the next phase, which is the construction.
Right.
I have 2 questions. If we were to approve the new well for the east side, when are we looking at completion date for that? You said they could pump or drill in a couple weeks, but there's the building of the tower. Well, you didn't give us a definitive answer of like, how long is that gonna take? Is this, we pass it for 2026, it's not gonna be completed for 2028?
Well,
So basically, it's a moot point on the budget because it's never gonna happen in 2026?
well, like I said, if we drill the well, we could pump directly into the system. So we do not need a tower because it will be able to backfeed the existing towers that are standing.
And it's something that could be done in fiscal year for next year.
Correct.
If you remember the 5-year CIP, the towers in the very next year.
But this 1.9 billion is with tower and everything.
No, that is
It's just
just
the
the
well.
well.
That's just the part that could be done next year.
Right.
Which is the tower.
We don't need one.
We never gonna have a
Yeah,
tower.
no, we're gonna need that.
We're gonna need a tower for sure, but we don't need it next year.
We don't need it for this, but that's an ongoing cost that's gonna be on the horizon.
Well, if we did this, we are gonna need a tower, right? So when you're committing to this, you are committing to the tower as well, right?
You can get by without it for a little while.
A
The
year.
5-year CIP, it's in there. The commitment to the well in 26 and the tower in 27.
How much is the tower at 27?
But doing this, well, it's kind of like step one. If we don't do this, we have a potential, like Caleb said, if we don't do this, then if we have a problem with one of the wells, we don't have enough water to supply the citizens.
Yeah.
Go together, but they don't have to be done at the same time.
But this is what you want to do first, though.
Yeah, we're still gonna combine budget about $10 million when all is said and done. And with a $50 million budget, once again, we're looking at how much does that equal?
Well,
Right, 20% of our annual budget for a well and a tower?
This is the water plant.
I know.
You can't throw them all together. They're
So-
funded completely different.
So my other question for you was 1 through 4, what's your ranking?
1 through 4 would be 4 would be number 1.
So the tap machine is your priority?
What's that?
Tapping machine is lowest
Lowest
priority?
priority?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the well would be my number 1. Number 2 would be the leak study. Number 3 would be the Phillips loop, and number 4 would be my tapping machine.
I'm close to you.
Yeah, get the feedback.
I don't suppose there's any state funding available to do something for the municipalities to this.
I was too, that's what I read from here.
On which part?
On the wells,
On the
is there
well.
any type of subsidy we can get through the states, or anything regarding clean water grants, or?
Yeah,
anything of that
anything that's
nature?
subsidizing?
I mentioned that in the last presentation I did last week. The state revolving fund is a possibility. We have to get on the plan, right? Be eligible. And then there's a low interest loan program. No grants. The new administration is, that fund's changing. They're not gonna receive federal money anymore. So that revolving fund is gonna revolve for a while. We have to get on the plan, and then we have to apply, and then it's possible to get a low interest loan.
Before we do that, we've got to get it in the budget because there's no sense in staff working to get grants and subsidies and stuff, if all of a sudden we don't have it in the, they're gonna say, well, if we grant you this, you've already got it approved in your budget. No, well, that's gonna put you low
This is
on the
the,
rate.
this is the first step, you have to have a new step.
So we can't keep up with the water needs, in the worst case scenario is what you're saying. Have we ever not been able to have water on the east side for our citizens?
No, we've always been able to have water.
Always been able to have water. Have we been? But it's been a Band-Aid solution is what we're saying. We can't keep continuing that way. Right. I just don't know, like, what's the backup plan right now? Can you get water from Lake Ozark?
We can. The difficult thing about Lake Ozark, getting water from them, is we have they run their system completely different than we do. We chlorinate, they do not. So then that means we'd have to be traveling all the way to Lake Ozark to there, and they're already struggling as it is. So it's hard to sit there because if it was us supplying them, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep our citizens in water, or are we going to try and help supply them with water?
So I will just tell you from a number of years ago when I was fire chief, we identified this situation with the city. This is back in the early 2000s, and there was a connection made, but it was really made with one main reason. Big fire, one of the water system goes down. It was not ever intended to supply, to help either of the other cities out with their normal domestic use. It's only that was the driving force. So if we're looking at, demand of people to domestic use of water, that really wasn't what we set up for, even though it could help.
That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Since there's only 4, do we need time, or can we do this the next minute?
Let's do the next two, so we have the extended break.
Everybody can cover that.
Just a suggestion, Mr. Mayor.
I was gonna say do the next 2 and have a short break. I don't need to smoke.
Well, it's not all about you there.
And if you don't mind, because I think we were gonna ask the same question that you did, Alderman Osteen, but if you don't mind, before we take our next big break, I would like the first 2 sections that we already did for the presenters to tell me their ranking with the different.
Sure. You guys want to do that now, or you want to do it at the end?
Well, we did the second section. We did the second section. We just didn't do the first.
Yeah.
On transportation.
Well, I mean, the general fund and transportation.
But the general fund encompasses
From
several
the presenter,
departments.
I want the
So hard
presenters,
for-
the presenter's suggestion on their 1 through whatever.
You guys want to hear from Eric and
The general fund, yeah, Eric.
Chief? Those
You
are
don't mind necessarily
Sure.
because IT, that's.
I would say our painting interceptor and then the drone.
But those are all included in general funds. You're just speaking on.
Yeah, he's only talking about
Only
this,
talking
so
about-
he would put the
Okay.
interceptor above the drone.
Okay, very
And
good.
then Eric, your part,
I would say dog park bathroom, much as I hate to say it. There's such a need for it there. I mean, the pavilion, there's a need for that, but potentially if the board approves this playground, then that's a big improvement to Phoenix for next year. I would love to have both, but there's a need for flushing bathrooms at the dog park. And then, Toro Workman, chip and seal lakefront. I can do without surveillance cameras for a while.
I would like to rank my boss as software number 1 for mine.
Thank you.
oh, well, there you go, you just changed a couple of my numbers, so it's done.
Yeah.
In transportation.
Since we're on that real quick, the ambulance, chief, we didn't have that as high as the other receptor.
Well, that's different.
Or is that-
That's Martin's too.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was one too. Okay.
You guys want to hear from Rob on his ranking, or are you
Yeah.
good?
I do, please.
Yeah.
My number 1 would probably be the plow and spreader, because we're always needing that truck when it starts snowing. We need as much equipment as possible. Number 2 would probably be Ash, the concrete culvert. Number 3 would be the Proctor drainage improvement, because that's been going on for at least 2 years, I don't know what. Number 4 would be the ADA sidewalks.
Where exactly would they do that?
We're just gonna start on this side, just, you know.
What's it entail?
We need to get all the we need to get everything to ADA's repair, and it's gonna cost a lot of money, so we want to start slow. We're in a big chunk of money.
But what do you need to do? I mean, to make it
We'll have to rip the whole sidewalks out and replace it all.
that looks pretty cheap for.
Well, it's not gonna go very far. Yeah, we're gonna do it in a lot of steps.
This is just for the first phase with.
First, I don't even know if you call it first stage. It's just gonna go, it might go 300 yards, it might go 150 yards. You know, it might not even go that far, I don't know. We gotta do it all along the parkway. Probably do the east, probably do the west side first, sorry about that, this side first. And
A 5-year CIP, the road district does 150,000.
correct, yeah. But we gotta start somewhere on that, we do, because, where was I at?
You were at ADA sidewalk 64.
You got it.
You said Nickel Road last.
Nichols
So
would be
Nichols
last.
Road concrete, can I get you the concrete culvert?
That was perfect.
That was number
That's
5, sorry,
fine.
yeah.
That's fine.
that's it.
We already know ties. EC fine?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to sewer. I'll let Chris talk on his. We're gonna do the public works shared last. I'm gonna pass out some new spreadsheets for you on that one. I'll let Chris do sewer.
So I've got a supervisor crew cab, with bringing in 2 crew leaders. I'm going to hand down the 2 F-150s we got to those 2 crew leaders. And also would like for it to be a crew cab truck, so when we go to trainings, we can just take one vehicle instead of multiple vehicles. I've got,
How often do you go to trainings?
we go 5 to 10 a year.
I'll add, crew cabs instead of jams, get them reset.
For sure they do.
And I'm gonna interject again, that, if we were on a leasing program, these numbers could be a lot different.
We can get that plug in.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna fix that. All right.
I've also
That was
got
before being added on board for the leasing.
4 lift stations on there to be rehabbed, new pumps, plumbing, pumping tees, panels. As we all know, our infrastructure is just getting to an age where parts are difficult to get. We're starting to have a lot of issues with them.
So, a couple questions. No need to get into the details on the rehabs because none of us will know what we're talking about. But can you give us your rankings? Because which of these resubs or rehabs are like dire, must be done today situations versus?
If you want my personal opinion, it would be all of them, but.
Yeah, I'm just curious. You're gonna ask for rankings, I just.
So can you tell us where they are?
Going back to coverage, what's the immediate?
Other than the
what's the
numbers,
big-
should it tell us where they are?
54-8, 54-9 are both over by Hawks Nest condos. Very outdated panels, same with the pumps. 27-5 is off Stewart, behind Lamaka Oaks Apartments. And 27-1 should be the lift station in the roundabout at the end of Stewart.
And if you don't mind, like, kind of remind you, you got 1,200 stations, ADA, or traditional lift stations. That provide a broader public benefit. So if you only do 1 a year, 2 a year, it's gonna take you 44 years at least to rehab all the stations. You've sort of been a pickle. You gotta start doing these in mass quantities. So when he says, I need all four of them, he needs all four plus. Get them done and meet expectations, same thing, operations and maintenance.
Can you give us a brief, I'm sorry, just what do you do when you rehab a lift station? What happens?
So the contractor will go in, the plumbing inside the wet well, they'll tear it out, replace it with new guide rail brackets, floats, pumps. Outside the wet wells, we're digging up the incoming and the outgoing line, and we're putting pumping teeth in there for instances where we did have an emergency and we could still bypass pump that. Putting new panels up. Like I said, a lot of these panels are getting 20, 30 plus years old. So getting parts to replace things when they blow up, melt, can be a difficult situation.
I mean, you're essentially gutting these.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, can you do all four in a year? So then, what's the point of priority? I mean, shouldn't we just prioritize them as a group?
I was gonna say, if I put two on every one of them, and let you guys do as many as you can.
I was gonna say that to Jeff as well. Obviously, we prioritize, something's not gonna make the cut. If we need all four, well, then they should all be grouped as one single item. Because obviously, you're not gonna get all of them if we're doing a ranking system.
Yeah, we'd like to deliver all four in one package.
That makes sense to me.
In the 5-year CIP, we do have 3 to 5 listed each year. And then it's planned to just kind of bolt those together each year.
Are these also some of the stations where the bugs are going in?
That's what I was doing.
Not any of these 4.
But because I know what the budget talked about being more automated, well, you don't have to wait for somebody to have a sea of light. The new panels will let us know we got a problem, we can do it, just click a button.
That's a good question, because when we do touch a lift station, we usually like needs to be above station. We look for not
Correct. Another issue that we've run into a few times is the age on the panels. They have step down transformers in them, so they're bringing 3-phase power down to 120. So when we go to plug in other things into these panels, we're blowing the transformers out of them, basically.
Well, for those that may not know, Jeff's done a nice job. He gets a text from me at least once or twice a week at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, where I smell something. And they're trying to figure out why, whether it's an influx of people, whether a big rainstorm, but last case was there was an arc, and literally flipped a switch. I mean, just like a breaker box. And they don't know that. And this would help automate all of that.
Thank you.
See, I learned so much in that meeting last week. It's how it works. It's awesome.
Is there like a repair savings per year that we spend $50,000 a year maintaining these for those stations, that if there's rehab that goes down drastically, do you have like any rough estimate?
Yes, we could estimate that for sure. 4 times we get indication.
Right.
So we get these rehab and get them preventive maintenance.
Okay.
It takes some time to do that. 4 stations and meaningful impact.
Understood.
So we'll track those, in fact, we get the data on follow-up.
Okay.
So I can provide that in the future.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Is everybody good to rank the sewer ones? Feel free to rank those 4 as one number if you'd like to do them as a group. Okay. April's passing out the revised Public Works shared with the revised information on it. So don't look at the one that is on the sheet you're working on right now.
Sweet. Where's she at?
Jeff, would you like to do the speaking on these, or since they're for all 3 departments? Or would you like somebody else?
I won't speak to the overchief.
Okay.
I'll probably end up with a
A minute, thank you very much.
So it's gonna be various public works people speaking on these items.
There's a mic on that side.
Thank
Thank you.
4 to 8.
I'm sorry, what?
Four projects to 8.
Yeah, that's why I need budgeting software. I'll get this other one pulled up. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I mentioned this last Thursday. Big part of asset management and telling the story and asking good questions is having data. And we have Hannah here, who is our DGIS specialist, and she's got software and she's got a lot of tools. But now we need to collect data. And we've got lines, and we've got dots, and we've got things like that. But like in sewer, for sure, we don't have a great deal of confidence in the accuracy of that, because they're all force mains, and when they were constructed, they weren't constructed in a way we can trace them. And so we have a lot of uncertainty out there with the sewer system. I think 85 or 90% of the system is force mains, not gravity, like most cities. So what we'd like to do in 2026 is extreme focus on data collection. We would use our consultants, we would use staff, we would have interns, college interns over the summer. Hannah directing some of that to make sure we're picking up the data through equipment, through field confirmation. There's going to be a lot of strategies that we have to use to do this. We need to get a lot better. I'll give you an example. A couple weeks ago, Ameren's contractor drilled through a force main. Was it 12 inch? 18 inch force main. That made a big mess, and it got into the lake. It was a half hour before we knew that happened. That's one issue. But they had drilled, they did it in 2023 on the same force main. We cannot have that happen. We have to know with a lot more accuracy where our sewer force mains are, or we'll make big messes, and we have to call DNR. So that's what we'd like to do in 2026 is really focus on that. This 300,000 is split 3 ways: water, sewer, and transportation. And I'll answer any questions you have.
I've got some questions. I can't wrap my head around, I support the idea of the data collection, I can't wrap my head around what that entails. And $300,000, where is that number coming from? Because you're estimating labor hours, workforce, contractors, I'm just.
Yep, all the above. All the above, it's gotta be.
So that number basically is a dark line?
Like we looked at a piece of equipment, it's a ground penetrating radar. It won't work in these soils, so we had to roll that. And this is a budget level estimate. I know you were asking for more specific estimates earlier. I can't give you a more specific estimate because we just don't know yet what it's going to take to find all these things just yet. Right? But we do now have one contractor, engineering consultant that you all approved, has a lot of experience helping cities with this. We're still unique. They don't, so we're going to lean on them some. We are looking at equipment, locating equipment. Anna's been working on that. All I'm telling you is I'm recommending 300,000 because I don't yet know how much it's going to take to do this, but the cost of not doing it is too big.
Does that include software?
No, we have the software. We have to have the information so Hannah can get it in the software. And I'll give you another example. Like whenever you have a Bass Pro or a Oasis or whatever is on the horizon, the first thing they do when we meet is what? They ask for plans. They ask for where the water and sewer is. And if we can't give that to them with great deal of accuracy, then we don't look very good, and it doesn't go off. It doesn't get off on the right foot. Yeah.
So you're saying it's $300,000 next year. That could be 25% of this project, like, because you don't know.
Yeah, if it's not 300,000, then it's not 300,000. But I don't know yet. So I'll need to.
So it could be 900,000, we just,
I don't believe so. I have experience with this. I just don't know yet what strategies are going to produce the most value yet.
okay,
And what that will cost.
okay,
I don't believe it's going to cost.
3 times, okay, all right,
No, I have good confidence on it cost that
okay.
So there's kind of estimating on the higher side.
much. Right in this case.
Okay. But feel pretty confident it's not gonna be extravagant more.
I don't think so. I think what we'll do is focus on sewer first. Water's more simple, and then transportation. We already have good information. We have complete information. So if we had to prioritize because 300 was going to be close or not quite enough, then that's what we would work.
So is this something that throughout the year you can come to us every quarter and be like, okay, I'm this much in and I'm way off? Okay.
If I could, just to kind of strengthen your position on this, if we have good data collection, which I think we all know we don't right now, you're stopping problems before they happen. So you're going to recoup some of this money by not having so many accidents that we are.
Not counting the fact that if you don't have the accident, we're not gonna be on the news.
That's nice too.
Well, and if we were deliberating over water earlier, I can tell you, you do not want to even get even close to not having enough capacity in water. That's not what you do not want. I've experienced it when you're talking about water restrictions, or somebody drills through the water main, a big water main, because we don't have accurate data, and then all of a sudden those tanks are draining. You don't want that. You just don't want to be in those emergencies. Water restrictions are terrible for anybody.
Caleb, you can miss it.
This is probably a crazy question. The software that goes with this data collection, what's the longevity? I mean, do we have to keep replacing that every so often, or how does that work?
Now, the city's already has subscriptions to the software. It's Esri and Choreograph. That's ongoing subscriptions. You already have both of those. And it's forever.
Okay.
So if you don't have more questions, I'll hand the rest over to Rob.
No need to. We're all gonna give you data collection. Nobody gets anything else. So much for those Kubotas, everyone.
Yeah, that's it.
Sure.
Oh, no, okay.
Okay. Wheel loader. Wheel loader, we've been looking at this. We're gonna split it 3 ways. That is the final cost on there. So just look at that, and it's gonna be split 3 ways. Anyway, with wheel loader, well, I could always use the wheel loader years ago when I first started, and now the other guys are, they found uses for it too. So anyway, I'd like to load salt with it and stuff like that. Now we're getting these totes of bugs for sewer, and instead of us using a track machine, having to load it up and move it, we can just, it's easier to transfer from one area to another. You just jump in and drive. Wheel loader is a big piece of equipment, got a big bucket on the front of it. You can change it, put forks on it to move pallets and stuff like that. On my side, it'd be great to use we do leaves. Everybody knows about the leaf program and stuff. We don't really have a powerful enough machine to roll them leaves. We do it at least once a month that we got to rotate them, and we try to do it at least twice a month until it breaks down to compost. So we've been using the backhoe with that. It's quite the struggle. Another use for it is loading salt in the wintertime. It'd be great to use on that. Most cities and stuff use a loader to load their salt, not use a backhoe bucket. But anyway, it would be handy that way.
Here's a picture of a wheel loader.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Do we have any questions on the wheel loader?
So you have one that's tracks, but not one of.
The track is a skid steer.
Okay.
So, so that's what they've been loading the bugs with and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Can you just cover, are all of these new or are these
replacements?
These are all new. This whole sheet that I'll be in.
We don't have any of this equipment in-house now.
Some of it we do, but we're gonna add to our fleet. But we do not have a wheel loader, correct?
So can you just tell us that we have one now, but it sucks, or we don't have one at all?
Correct. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Thanks.
Any more questions?
And this is one you don't have at all currently?
No, do not. Miller paver and oil distributor. Oh, probably about 4 years back, I've been trying to get a paver here. And to get it, we put all this together, you know, the milling machine. Actually, it's a head that goes on top on a skid. It's skid steer. The paver is a self-propelled paver. It's for like paving roads. We got a lot of spots that we've been tearing up that's bigger than what we can do by hand. So if we do anything by hand, it ain't gonna be very smooth. Distributor, you need a distributor. If there's existing asphalt, you need to put down liquid asphalt first for a tack where existing pavement can go over the top of it. So anyway, and like the milling head will go on to a skid steer, which we don't have a high flow skid steer yet for that can fit on, but we are asking for a skid steer now. Any questions?
And, Rob, this is the package that we thought we could offer on private road.
Correct.
The city has a lot of private roads. The road district helps out with that. The neighborhood has to hire a contractor. And the road district reimburses, right? If we have this kind of equipment, possible in some cases, we can do that for them. Not take ownership necessarily, but it would be a service to those neighborhoods that are private. And I'll tell you, the milling head, the fact that we don't have one is not good. But you have to have a high flow skid steer to operate a milling head. There's no exception to that. So if we're going to be sort of more sophisticated now, we fill potholes and make repairs and that kind of thing, we have to have a milling head. We've got to have a high flow skid steer. Otherwise, we're doing sort of rudimentary pavement. That's what they've been doing. They do a good job with what they have. We want to get really good at it and keep these roads the way they are now. We're going to have to have equipment.
Rob, real quick, is any of this rentable? Like, do we need a wheel loader 4 times a month and we can rent it somewhere, or is that not an option?
Like I said, we've been using the backhoe as a loader for now, but we would use it more, you know, if we have a wheel loader. I mean, we'll use it, I'd say, 3 times a week, if not 5.
The dump truck is tied to the other piece of equipment from earlier.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
Without the truck, it doesn't matter about getting the plow.
and I understand that but we're still kind of in a wish list here, so I'm going to need to kind of hear your ranking of these things.
Okay.
So how come the dump truck went up by double from one sheet to the next?
The dump truck will have a plow, or not, the plow and spreader I buy. So the dump truck is going to be a dump truck. It's got to still get a bed put on the cabin chassis, and then we have to add the bed on it. Hydraulic bear.
Yeah, it wasn't. I did it per department instead of it's all 3 of them paying for it.
You really need that budget something?
Yes. I can't take anything times 3 apparently.
Hydro seeder. Hydro seeder, you know, water and sewer, and of course, transportation department can tear up yards and stuff. We're just hand spreading seed on there, and it don't work that great. Residents ain't really liking that, so we're spending a lot of time going back, trying to get their landscape looking better that we tore up and stuff like that. hydro seeder would, has fixed a lot of problems for a lot of the, local, landscapers and stuff. So, we reached out to some landscapers, talked to them what would be the best fixes, and they said a hydro seeder would really work very well. Any questions on that?
What's it do?
It mixes in the seed and the fertilizer at the same time, and it just, have you seen like where it's been like green at before, you know, like something?
There's a picture of it.
There you go. Perfect. So, but yeah. Any questions? Kubota 57 excavator. This would be, we do have one of these, and it seems like we're always getting together and trying to see what everybody else got on their jobs and stuff like that. And if they're using it, we gotta change our departments, which I mean is water, sewer, and transportation. We get together and say, hey, what are you using today? Hey, we might be tied up a week, so it puts our projects back. So it looks like we're gonna have to add more equipment to get jobs complete at a timely manner. So we're asking for a excavator. You got a picture of that?
This would just be adding a second one?
Be adding a second one. We're gonna, and you see down there, you see another Kubota excavator 80. The 57 is a little smaller. We get in between houses and stuff like that because we work, you know, we got to work in between houses and stuff like that. And the 80 is a lot more powerful. So that kind of falls in on if we really start getting into some heavy rock and stuff, you know, and depth.
How many excavators do we currently have?
2.
So this adds a second of each size?
Yes. Well, actually, we got one that's even smaller than the 57.
Okay. So adds a small, a 2, and
be a total of 4 excavators.
So you keeping them all in the inventory, or are you getting rid of the old ones?
We're gonna keep the old ones for right now because in our departments, we don't just run, you know, let's say I got an operation going on, I got enough I can get, I try to get 2 operations, if not 3. And that's how they work their department too. And it might be all big jobs, you know, so. Skid steer, this is what Jeff was talking about, a high flow skid steer. And that will run the milling head. It'll run any kind of high flow attachments that we want to purchase in the future for if we see any future use for stuff like that. So, that's basically all there is to that there. If you got any questions on that,
But you have to have that one in order to get to Miller.
just a minute.
Just a minute.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Just like to hear your rankings.
I got one where we got the truck. We talked about the truck. Didn't we?
Well, I think we're all.
We already talked
I think
about
we're all
that.
in the truck.
We all know about it, don't we?
You have to sell us on that. You have to sell us on the truck.
Okay. Okay. Anything else before I start? You want to hear my ranking on it?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Do you want to hear all of our rankings on it, or you want to hear?
Just from, I mean, I don't need to
They
hear
might be a little different though. That's what I'm saying, because it is split 3 ways.
Well, whoever wants to do it, for me, I'm good with the truck. I'm good with data collection, so I'm just going for it.
rankings on
You want me to rank them? I was just
it?
thinking.
Yeah, I think you should
Yeah.
probably rank them.
That way it's independent.
That way they can be mad at you.
Yeah,
The data collection, be number 1.
So,
Miller paver and what was your. And I have the package, the skid steer and milling them together.
So the skid steer would be your third.
And, Miller, yeah.
Right.
dump truck.
How's it's a new addition.
Yeah, to them.
I'll have to next.
The dump truck's next. Dump truck is 4.
This is what I would do.
Chris is looking at it.
In the hot seat over there. Text him. I mean, honestly, I'm already done. I'm kind of just listening to you.
I did my, we're all done already, we're just listening.
Well, I'd have to do the excavators and then the hydro seeder.
Which excavator though, the 57 or the 80?
That's not most like 80, 80.
But you said the 57 though allows us to get in areas.
But they got a smaller
But they have a smaller one.
Got a smaller one.
We got to do that.
Where's the wheel motor in here?
Bottom.
Yeah.
You guys want to duke it out while we're on our break?
You can just turn it off. I'm done over here.
I think everybody's right.
All right. Well, the rest of people figure out something.
Let's just say we don't have enough money, so it really doesn't matter.
We're really just trying to get like the top.
Like top 3 or 4, probably. I mean, the bottom ones are never gonna make it.
Yeah, so you done then?
Yep.
Yeah, so I want to go on a break. How long will we go? 10 minutes?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Call meeting back to order, please.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we still have a lot to get through.
In an hour.
In an hour. Okay, so the next part of the agenda is all of the purchases that are 5,000 to 25,000 for each of the departments we already went over. It's broke up into new capital purchases and then replacement and maintenance items. So if you want to look through the general fund, you'd like descriptions from each of the department heads, we'll be happy to do that, or if you have specific questions. The Board of Aldermen electronic softwares is Tara's. That's to cast your guys' votes electronically during board meetings, and it can be displayed. Or on the very first page of the agenda. The floor scrubber is for Ron's department, along with the vending machine for the break room. Yes.
We talked about the vending machine before.
Yes.
And it was something we were gonna outright buy and stock ourselves. Just to clarify.
Yes. Correct.
Oh, we like the one in the airport.
Correct.
We're not purchasing new ones, so we're going with
City Park electrical upgrades. This is phase one for Eric bringing the holiday lights back to City Park. But currently the electrical out there is not conducive to doing that. So this would be phase one, and then next year we would ask for money for the actual holiday lights.
I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but are we gonna be ranking these also?
No.
We're not.
No. These are just, if anybody feels strongly one way or the other about something, we can discuss that, but I didn't write
So
these
discuss
small
that we're
ones.
going-
Yeah.
These fall within the city administrator's discretion to purchase.
Correct.
So that's why she doesn't need authority from the board, but she's just
Right.
letting us know.
But if you have strong opinions one way or the other, we'll be happy to discuss that.
The city park electrical upgrades, do we only need that because of the Christmas lights? Or do we need it for other things?
It would be extremely handy for other events, like, for example, this weekend, the fall festival. Being able to offer more electric, we'd be able to attract more vendors.
All right, I'm sorry, I don't know if this is the time to say this or not, but back to that point, I've been going to some festivals the last couple of weeks from Harmony, so I went to the Turkey Festival and then the Apple Festival, and they did have the option for several vendors to plug in, and they would charge $25, but a lot of vendors were there because they could plug in, they would not have showed up if they could not have, so as we continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, electricity out there will be huge.
The batting cage and the commercial flagpole Eric went over during his presentation. Hannah is asking for 2 new GPS units. And then this is in conjunction with economic development and parks, but the 250th 4th of July celebration. A portion of that has already been paid for out of this budget, so we could secure fireworks. But this would be the remainder of that event.
Is the 15,000 just for fireworks? Or?
No. There's 20,000 for fireworks. We've paid 15 of that already. And then this is another 15 to cover the 5 for the remaining of the fireworks, and then 10 for other things.
We've had several meetings, discussions on exactly what we want to do for next year. Lots of good ideas. I think we're leaning towards a parade. At least we know for sure we're going to have fireworks. We know that. Everything else we're going to plan, but we budgeted for $10,000 instead. So just because we're not 100% sure yet. So
You're doing this on the floor, right? And then this, as I'm being the devil's advocate, there's a lot going on all over the way.
Yeah.
everybody's going big next year. It's 250. So no Safe Beach, no.
Yeah, not that I'm saying we shouldn't do it, but the whole lake will be doing things that day. So you might not get the turnout that you are expecting just based on that.
Devin, where's the commercial flagpole?
That's for Eric. That's at the park.
Oh, the city park. Okay.
I actually think they might get a good turnout because there's a lot of places not doing fireworks anymore with the CBD, so that might be a draw for people to go families.
actually, fireworks are gonna be pretty much scrap, right? But they're not on the floor. The floor will be used.
I'd like to point out the company that we contracted with is one of 2 fireworks companies in the United States that are American-produced fireworks. It's out of Buffalo, Missouri. They have a good reputation. So they'll set them off on the south city park, and then we get people on soccer fields to watch fireworks and get a good show.
Well, there's not a lot of places, most of them are on the water too, so. But
Can we go back to the voting software? What is the voting software?
Yeah, what it is I did a website or a webinar with, let me grab my stuff here. It's a voting software where you vote electronically instead of doing a roll call vote. You would get your iPad or your desktop or whatever would be out there. Open Meetings did a presentation. I really liked it where on your laptop, your phone, you can do it via Zoom meeting. You vote where when someone will make a first, like say that Alderman Rucker made a first, he wants to make a first on this agenda item, push a first, and then the mayor would ask for a second, and then someone would second it on there, and then you would vote. And the voting would come up, and you'd only see everybody's vote after it's been tallied up. So it wouldn't be me calling out any more, random orders, and nobody could see who's voting what or where. It would not pop up until it was all done. In addition, it would have the agenda item that we're on based on both TVs or all 4 TVs, so the audience could see what agenda item we're on. That I think is lacking, where most of the time when audience members sit in the audience, they don't know what we're talking about because they can't see the agenda item. That would put it right up there. Also, it always has a push to talk. So there's no more talking over each other, and the mayor doesn't have to say, okay, wait, Alderman Hoffman can talk or Alderman Osteen can talk or whatever. You push a button and you wait in line. So when you're done, the mayor would open that up and say, okay, now Alderman Collins, you have the floor. It's just an electronic system to give us more continuity, make us more independent voting. I think that all the municipalities, most of the ones that I've seen, like Lebanon has electronic voting they're getting ready to do. It's something that is coming up in the world. If it's something that we don't want to, I really would like, I've been in talks with Michael Bean to see if we can get it done. There's ways we can, but I'm not anticipating it coming in for this year. I really think that we need to do a lot. Michael and I need to get together and Travis to sit down and really look into see what the best system is to integrate with all of this that we already have.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
Interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other questions on the general fund upper part? Okay, we'll move on to replacement and maintenance items. Ron would like to replace the laptops and mounts for his building inspectors, along with the alarm detectors in City Hall and the parking lot ceiling and striping that didn't get done this year. That would be a carryover. Eric is wanting to replace 10 picnic tables at the park. Chief is wanting to replace 14 laptops at the PD, 3 interceptors, and 3 trucks. And he would like to replace the evidence refrigerator.
So that these interceptors are replacements of current vehicles that
Yes.
would be sold.
Correct.
The other interceptor is a new one. It's an addition.
Yes,
Okay,
that's correct. These are all replacement items.
thank you.
Engineering, we'd like to replace the Jeep and the Explorer. I'll let Michael talk to his 1019 items. They're highly confusing.
All right, so the UPS revitalization, we have 2 in the building. Both of them are essentially the step between the power receptacle and the generator. It allows any kind of disruption throughout the building to ensure that we can softly power down any operational equipment. What this is each unit is pushing over 11 years old and probably should have been done about 3 years ago. But Schneider came to me this year. We have 2 again, 20,000 per unit. So I'm asking to do 1 this year and 1 next year. Again, it's just a battery backup supply that provides constant power. The Raspberry security PCs. This is at both airports and the parks. These are kind of small server type PCs that allows for the security cameras that we do have to be upgraded to Windows 11. So that's just allows the continuity between those satellite sites and City Hall. The plotter scanner is exactly that. We have a 14-year-old unit that is basically dead right now that we need to get replaced so we can continue to go paperless and scan, specifically Tara and Ron's departments, to scan the oversized documents that they have. We were using the one that was at Public Works that we brought over to City Hall that we've sent back over to Public Works. So the hope is
You
now,
need that.
yes, ma'am. So now we can get one for ourselves. The Cisco switch upgrade, it's a significant amount of money. This was an oversight by myself last year. I think I inadvertently told Devin that we needed to remove this project last year. I was trying to split it into 2 different years. Now we're to the point now where, from a security standpoint, every one of our networking pieces of equipment need to be upgraded. And that is also piggybacked by Huber's security assessment that's the number one thing we need to do in our environment is to upgrade all of our switches. SFP, this is kind of a second-hand piece of some equipment that we currently run. I'm not going to get into the devil in the details here because it is confusing. Just know that the way that our network operates right now has basically all of the instructions and configuration. This will allow us to completely go away from what we are currently using and roll over to a piece of equipment that we actually already have in place. We just never did finalize this when we were with our previous MSP. So that's just kind of the last piece to that. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions on any of that.
Why are you looking at me?
I just figured you'd have something for me.
Okay, so the switches.
Yes, ma'am.
How many switches?
That is 12 switches. That's everyone in the city, including the satellite sites. And we have an overall amount of, I want to say 18, but we're consolidating. Now that is all of the networking equipment and our phone switches. So we run 5 small business Cisco's right now that we installed in 2018 that have met their life expectancy. Instead of doing a 1-for-1, we have combined numerous switches to go down, I believe, from 18 down to 12.
And these switches are like $8,000 a piece?
I could give you an overall breakdown, but between the 12, there's a lot more to it. SFPs, you want to get into the transceiver side of it, there's like $6,000 pieces that allow them to communicate with one another.
So it's not just 12
Not yet.
Cisco switches.
There's a lot more to it. This is like probably the biggest networking project that's ever been done in this building other than standing it up to begin with. So it's also, like I said, the networking diagram in the back end. It's not just replace a piece of equipment and plug it back in. There's a lot more that goes into it than that.
That makes a whole lot more sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And if you did want to look at it, like I said, I can kind of show you a breakdown of all the granular line items that are in each individual switch. But again, it's a lot of knowledge that you guys may not care about. So
Or understand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you turn your page over, on the other side, we'll start with the public works shared items. They're wanting a walk-behind saw, a walk-behind brush cutter, a track concrete buggy, and then water and transportation want to share a 0-turn mower. And then the last 4 that are down there, those were the mistakes that I made that got included on the ranking, so you don't need to pay attention to those. Yes. That was my math error. Transportation, if you remember back in February, you guys approved the purchase of that leaf vac. That will go into this year's budget. It's on order, but not received yet. So I just wanted to put that in there as a reminder. Transportation would also like to get a core drill, put up a street light at 3 Seasons, a gantry crane, a storage building, a screen for the Miller, and get conflict signal monitors and controllers for the signals around town. And then their replacement items is a sign truck, and then the pavement maintenance plan that we do every year.
So is this Miller The Miller screen, is it not necessary if we approve the Miller paper and building distributor?
So Miller here is a green
Oh,
type of screen.
they don't have anything to do with each other? Okay.
Yes.
There's Three Seasons streetlights, is that Three Seasons Road?
Yes.
Okay, don't we have a line item in the budget for just streetlights?
We have a streetlight maintenance line item, I believe, but this would be a capital.
I guess where I'm coming from is, I've always thought in the past that we just put X number of dollars every year in the budget for streetlights, and when somebody, in some subdivision or some organization, somebody on the street would come to us with a petition, et cetera, then we would be able to do it. Rather than specifically, I mean, I just recently had somebody that I talked to Tara about. Tara got some information, who was requesting that we take over their street light. So if that's not in the budget, that project won't get done until 2027.
I'm assuming if it's already installed, that would be a maintenance line item. These are new streetlights.
This is a maintenance one that we would take over the cost of.
Right.
We have like a line item in the budget
Correct.
that has some available funding to add additional ones.
Yes, under the maintenance line item.
Okay.
Any other questions on transportation? Okay. Water, they would like a storage building, pipe rack and pallet racking, and then a replacement dump truck. This is replacement, right? Oh, that was it. Okay. Ignore the dump truck. That was part of the ranking.
What is this, like a little metal building or something? 15,000 something. For building.
Wasn't the dump truck
And
on
then
the
it went to
ranking?
120.
Yeah, the dump truck was on the ranking.
The one at
Right, but
60
it
grand?
was 60 on one and then 120 on another.
30.
Oh, I thought it was 60.
If I mean, here's 30, and 60 on the ranking.
The
On
dump
this-
truck.
On this one, it's 120.
I think there was some confusion with cab and chassis versus with the bed, right?
Correct.
So if we redid this, we fixed it.
It's 120. Split two ways.
So the storage building would be kind of like a metal shed. This past year, we did some Connex boxes for storage for some of our fittings. We're gonna keep our mowers in it to free some space up in our shop to park our equipment in during the winter months. So 15,000 seems a little expensive, but we're
super cheap.
super cheap.
Pretty
Well,
fat little metal buildings.
yeah, so like the Connex boxes, what we did on two of them is we did a hoop barn to connect the two, and I think we were able to do two of the Connex boxes with the hoop barn for about 12,000.
Okay. Is it, I'm just wondering, so buildings are usually at another zero at least, so.
Yeah, just go ahead and finish.
Yeah.
That sounds like a shed.
Do we have any other questions,
No.
like pipe racking or anything like that? The tower cleaning, a couple of years ago, we had a company come in with a drone and power wash the outside. I think it makes it look really nice, you know, keeps the mildew off the side.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah.
When I talked to him earlier this year, he's about 8,500 per tower, but we want to give a little bit of wiggle room for inflation. The F-350 with
I'm sorry. This is for both towers, then, 30 grand.
the three towers, yes. Yeah, Passover, Bluff, and Swiss.
Three towers
Or
are
not
one
Passover, Passover's getting taken
We
this
talked
year.
about that.
Yep.
Okay.
The F-350 will replace our oldest truck in our fleet with a service bed that will be a little bit more adequate for what we're going to use it for. It would come with a Tommy gate to help transport chemical to and from our well houses. And then the service line replacement would go with the future road projects. That would be us replacing existing service lines and then sleeving them before the transportation department was to come in and mill the road up and so we're not having to cut or anything like that, so.
So what's the status of this F-350? Is it in good shape, average shape? Is it, we don't have a maintenance, we don't have a vehicle maintenance plan.
Right.
Right.
I know we're all working on it.
So the truck that we're replacing has, well, we actually just, but it's got roughly 75,000 miles on it right at the moment. And it's been some pretty rough miles. I think it's a 2011 and that's, that's up there in age for a vehicle.
It is, but 75,000 miles on a 350 isn't a lot of miles. I'm sure there are rough miles.
But sometimes it's not about the mileage, it's about the year. Because trying to get replacement parts and get work done when they're older is double the cost.
Yeah, good thought, Bob.
And if you assume correctly, like if we were under a leasing plan, these numbers could be a lot different. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's not part of the leasing plan, by the way, but go ahead, that's great.
I'll go ahead and let Chris do his, since he's here.
I've got a core drill on there, 2 valve turners. Also got a storage building on there, a gantry crane, pipe rack, pallet racking, and flow movers. The replacements, the F-550 service truck. Also put pumps and panel inventory in there. And we have the road crossing sleeves also for the future road projects, so we don't have to tear up the new pavement.
I have a couple questions. So there's a core drill under transportation and one under sewer,
That was a mix-up.
so there should only be one?
There's only one core drill and only one gantry crane, and that's for me.
Okay, so they should be crossed off transportation. And what are the specifics on your F-550?
The F-550 will be to replace the old pump truck that we kept back as a replacement.
That's the 2013.
Correct.
65.
I've got a question, this is for Devin though. So we've got 2 line items here for future road projects.
Correct.
Are these linked to specific road projects that we've approved already, or we're just ballparking some numbers?
It's in the CIP, the 5-year CIP.
So we've got literally how much here, $1.2 million, and these 2 line items tied to future road projects.
Correct. It's multiple roads that we will be doing in future years, so that we're not having to tear that pavement up again.
Future years though, this is basically, these are roads we're planning to address in 2026.
Nope. These would be roads that were, correct, Jeff? These aren't roads we're doing this year, it's roads we're doing in future years.
So they want to start next year, so in order to get ahead of the overlay, he and Taylor will have to work next year to do some, and then we'll wait until later in the summer and fall to do the overlay. But then also be working towards 2027, so we can start pavement management in the spring like normal. So it's gonna take us about a year and a half to get caught up and get ahead of the road, but you've got 2 years pavement management in the 5-year CIP.
But we're still being asked though for the 2026 budget to allot money for projects that will be done in 2027,
It has to
right?
be done in 26 because they're gonna be going to work in 2027. So the work's gotta be done in 26 with water and sewer. So transportation in 27 is not waiting for water and sewer to get all up the pipes and stuff.
We need to start in the spring.
Let's try to link it all together because that's a huge chunk of change for future road projects.
And by the way, I was going to mention the other night, the gas company and electric company will get their 5-year CIP, just like the other two utilities, so they can do their work ahead of that.
Okay, so I'm confused, I'm sorry. So this $700,000 is what your department needs to do in 2026 to prepare for road projects that will be done in 2027.
It'll be for 2026 and for 2027.
Maybe a lot, yes.
So how much of this do we actually need to budget for 2026?
So in 2026, we're gonna delay the paving until fall to allow us to get these projects done in 2026. But in 2026, we're also gonna do the projects to prepare for the road pavements that they're gonna do in 2027, so they can start in the spring instead of delaying it until the fall. We're doing 2 years worth of work, and we're doing 2 years worth of work in 1 year, so that we aren't prolonging the pavement process in 27. We're trying to get ahead of the game rather than delaying.
That part I understand. Okay, so this $700,000, is that all going to your department?
That's sewer crossing, yes.
Okay, so all of this will be spent in 2026,
Correct.
even though all the projects won't necessarily be done until 2027.
No.
But your part will be done.
My part will be done, yes, that is just my part, that 700,000.
Okay.
It's in parentheses saying it's tied to this. We do this now.
I understand, I just,
What threw me off for a second?
okay.
But it's not just 700,000, it's also going back to water, it's also another 600,000 there that gets linked to all this.
Then we'll be in the habit of doing it.
Okay. All right.
And that is all the remainder of the capital. We can move on to additional staff requested.
Back, well,
Sure.
sorry, I was
It's
still
okay.
trying to get my thoughts earlier. Transportation has 7,500 for a core drill, 15,000 for a crane. Sewer has 7,500 for a core drill, 15,000 for a crane. Is this did each department have to have that?
That was a mistake on my part.
Okay, so which one, what needs to
It
be-
belongs to sewer, does not belong to transportation.
Take off transportation?
Yes.
Thank you. I thought that was said, but I wasn't quite.
Yes.
sure. Sorry, all right.
Okay, additional staff has been requested. I'll let each of the departments speak on these. Parks is requesting 2 additional seasonals.
Yeah, traditionally, we've always had at least 4 seasonals, and thought I had submitted a request for 4, but I guess there's only 2. So we do need 4 seasonals. We'll be opening a concession stand again next year, and hopefully we can find staff, but with only 2 seasonals, that's gonna be a little challenge, and it's a lot of full-time staff. Caitlin and I spend a lot of time in the concession stand this year, along with our good-time maintenance jumping in and helping too. So this is basically giving the full-time staff a little bit of a break from everything else.
Like the Girl Scouts troop or something like that.
We did have the scouts, and they did a good job when they were available. But a little over halfway through the summer, they all had camps, and it was already planned. So we took care of it. We staffed the concession stand. Caitlin and I mostly, and it was fine, but it made for some very, very long days.
Eric, am I off, do I assume correctly that we're gonna be taking care of our own parks this next summer, correct?
Yes.
With a little everything.
Everything.
Okay. Questions for you, Maddie, go any further with the staffing?
Yes.
Maddie had bid out comprehensive studies on our staffing levels.
Correct.
And she received 5 bids for that, but then tabled presenting that to the board because she wanted to do that in a further discussion going back to our staff levels. So here we are talking about adding additional staff. But I thought before we wanted to add additional staff, we wanted to get a comprehensive study done to see what our staffing levels should be. Even though somebody would be asking for 2 additional staff, that survey may say you actually need 3, or you only need 1. So I'm a little leery of approving additional staff. You know, I'm all about the HR side of everything with the city, but I'm a little leery of approving new positions when we said just a few months ago, we don't want to add any new positions until we get a comprehensive study done. Are we at the right staffing levels across the board with every department?
Sure. And that comprehensive study is budgeted, or we're requesting it in FY '26, but the department heads have justification for their request. So I think I would recommend listening to the department heads for their needs. But of course, the comprehensive study will look into this as well.
I thought gotten approved on last year's budget sessions, but it didn't make the cut. So here we are sitting here.
No, it made the cut. It was just out of budget.
It was just not done.
Yes.
They all
came in over budget. So that's why we're requesting additional funds this year in the HR budget for that.
The two that is being requested in parks, that's addition to the 4 that we have allocated to them in 2026, or 2025, excuse me.
There wasn't.
2025, they have 4, I mean, you're saying additional. It's not additional, it's I mean, so.
I'm showing 2 seasonals in parks.
In 2025, we budgeted for 5 full-time employees, 4 part-time employees. That's what we budgeted in 2025. So are we asking to add more to that number, take that number away?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to go to the top.
I'm on the budget for this year,
Right.
page 28.
Page 28.
Yeah, page 28 of this year's budget. Personnel schedule, develop details for 2025. Parks has 5 full-time employees and 4 part-time employees that we approved in the budget for 2025. So you need more than 5 full-time and 4 part-time?
I do not.
So why is those 2 on the budget?
Well, because this is what I was looking at, is the organizational chart, and it shows that there's only 2. So this must have been, if I could get there.
Those people are already taken away.
Pretty sure I sent HR an email requesting 4, but that is a lot going on.
Okay, so this is just wrong. This is what I was looking at right here. It says there's 2 seasonals in the organizational chart.
Yeah, 4 in the actual budget itself.
Okay, so then this is not,
Page 28, it says.
this, yeah, there's a discrepancy here.
We don't need to even,
Okay, we don't need that one.
we don't need to talk about that.
Got it.
That was the easiest you've ever had. There you go.
Again,
Welcome to Stafford Level.
yes, again, budgeting software.
Thank you all.
Okay, I'll turn this one over to Michael for his IT support specialist.
All right. Did you find anything in there for me, Kev?
I'm waiting to see what you say.
All right,
You have
guys.
the paperwork ahead of time, or have it ahead of time.
Well, I wish I'd have sent it out now. All right. Basically, I'm asking for kind of a help desk level staff as we continue to transition and work out things with Huber and Associates and change things the way we did with our previous MSP. After hiring Travis, we just realized that another staff member we believe would be highly beneficial. Went out and just did some basic numbers. I know numbers can kind of say whatever you want them to say, but just punching in some specifics. 140 users across the department. Kind of did a breakdown of everything that we have here at the city. I just want to go over real quickly kind of some of the key points that we oversee without getting too deep into the weeds. And listen, IT is really covers a gamut of 1,002 different things. You wouldn't believe the different things that are brought to us every day. And we do our very best to help with as much as we can. But even there's time for Travis is just coming to me saying, boy, if we had one more person, it would really help. We do things such as help desk, end user support, completely on our shoulders. Systems administration is all of us. As you can see, email, Office 365, that entire suite is us. We do outsource cybersecurity, but that is not hands off. As of right now, Huber has kind of a reactive stance, which I'd like to address as this contract comes to an end. So if something goes down on the networking side, often we are getting a report that we already know of, and Travis and I do our best with no networking experience to figure out any issues that may happen. And Huber allows us to put a project bid in for their assistance, but they are truly at a reactive stance when it comes to the networking piece. They also assist us, as I stated, with cybersecurity, which that kind of runs the gamut. Along with that, Travis and I take care of applications and database support. Obviously, we can't be masters of every piece of software that's out there, so a lot of the departments assign their own staff members to help out. But again, Travis and I have a big part of that. Physical access control, security. As we stated, Beischer oversees that for us to an extent. Travis and I are in there doing a lot when it comes to the security side of things. Compliance and policy, project management, and now artificial intelligence. Obviously, I've had a lot of conversations with the aldermen, and we're kind of just scratching the surface of what we can do with AI. And Travis and I are learning as we go. This is just a small microcosm of some of the things overall that we deal with day to day as it relates to IT. Quick breakdown on the police side. We continue to grow on the emergency service side. 30 officers, patrol cars, body cams, smart tasers, evidence, the surveillance that we talked about, all the different core financials, personnel, and billing software, 911, 24-hour operations, airports, public works, ambulance, and then, again, the shared services. When I plug in all of the numbers of everything that an IT shop does, it doesn't matter if you have 14 employees or if you have 3,000 employees. The same level of IT directives are done at every size organization. So right now we have assistants on 4 of those 11 that I've identified, which leaves 7 on just Travis and myself. I'm very grateful that you guys allowed me to add Travis a year and a half ago. He's been amazing. If I'm lucky enough to get another employee and get another Travis, I think we're well on our way. Next year, when we get to the end of Huber, I'm going to change the way we approach this hybrid environment. I would like to not outsource as much to Huber and Associates or whoever our MSP will be, and hopefully bring some of that in-house or have a pool of money like Public Works does in a situation where it's needed versus a month-to-month charge for, as I stated, a reactive stance. Anyways, when I plug the numbers in again, the industry standard says we should be at 9 to 14. That's a significant, I'm not ever going to ask for 9 to 14. I'm just showing you that to show that the numbers tell you that having 2 employees is significantly understaffed. And that is taken into consideration with us putting in assistants on 4 different lines. The biggest thing that I want to talk about is on call. I am the only department head that's on call half of the year. I do that so Travis can have a break, but that's 3,000 hours a year that we can't drink, can't leave the area, can't do anything. We are literally standing by 3,000 hours out of the year, Travis or myself, and I just think it would help burnout. A lot of times I might take a shift for Travis if he's got something going on with his family. But again, 26 weeks out of the year, we're balancing the on-call phone. We average around 25 to 30 calls after hours a year. Most of that is the police department. Not a high number, all things considered, when I was on call, when I was in Travis's position. But at the same time, I don't want to overstate that for half of the time we're standing by waiting for a phone call. So having one more person in that rotation to mix that or to change that to 33%, I would still stay in the rotation. That would just help Travis and myself. Ticket workload. When we went away from our last MSP, we averaged around 800 tickets for the last 3 years. For whatever reason, when we brought that back in-house, we're projected to be between 17 and 2,000 work orders. I believe a lot of that is because our users across the city feel more comfortable coming to Travis and myself as opposed to placing a phone call to someone sitting in St. Louis. So I think the numbers reflect, and I think this will continue to go up because, again, Public Works can come and just talk to Travis and myself. And we also have a ticketing software that we make everybody put in tickets so we can accurately track the work that we're doing. Again, 24-hour operations when it comes to 911, SCADA, the different compliances, CJIS, HIPAA, PCI, DSS, all the evidence side of things. It's just a lot for just 2 people to look over. Any questions of anything that I went over so far? And I don't take this lightly. Asking for a new employee, I understand, has wide-reaching impact. The biggest thing that I would say is I need help is because Travis comes to me and he's asking me for help. And Travis has been the best employee that I've had in all my years of managing in the military and then at the state and then here. And I do what I can to help him, obviously along with the management duties that I have. So to get away from possibly burning out the best employee that I've ever had, I'd like to get him some help. So that's where I'm coming from when it comes to that employee.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Think you can find another one?
If I can find another Travis, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
he's as good as it gets.
Couple of comments. First of all, back in 2015, 2010, somewhere in that stage, we had 2 people in IT. And we converted over after we lost one to outsourcing a lot of it. And at that time, we knew we needed more people. We still now have just 2 people. And there's a whole lot more to the computer world than there was back then. There's a whole lot more issues. I don't think, probably only a couple of people in this room that maybe I have more knowledge on IT than them. Most everybody here is a lot smarter than me in that area. And so you guys all know that. I'm preaching to the choir. When I was involved with the process when we hired
Travis?
No, the company before this.
Forward slash.
Forward slash. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
And I remember on the interview process when we went through it with a couple of companies, and they were all like, "That's all the full-time employees you guys have? That's all you have? That's all you have?" And so they were back then realizing that we were under. So I fully support it. I know it's going to be tough with all the numbers we got to crunch, but we need support because that department supports the whole city. Couple of questions for you, Michael.
Yes.
You got $6,000 in the budget this year for overtime. If we hire a third person, will we be able to eliminate that $6,000?
So that $6,000 is on call. And I'd have to, Maddie's not here, but what I'm told, I never had it on call, and I'm not beating a dead horse when I say that, but we were fortunate enough as Travis gets the 1 hour a week, is that what it is? That's what that overtime is. And then Travis has taken comp time anytime he's ever been called in. So he never touches the overall budget. That $6,000 is just based on the 1 hour per week. Am I saying that right? 1 hour per week? 1 hour per day, and he's on call for 2 weeks at a time. And that's where the financial side comes out.
So that is not for him to physically come back. That's the compensation that we give for all of our employees that are not allowed to have their time off to do whatever they want. They have to sit at home, but they've got to keep themselves mentally and physically.
Yes, sir.
ready to come
That is
back.
standby pay. And then
That's really, okay, so it's standby pay.
Yeah. So it's
That's better terminology?
correct. And then with the new employee, after talking to Devin and Maddie, we figured it would be an entry-level position, like a level 8. I believe our numbers have went down a little bit because Travis is a level 10. He's a systems administrator with a lot more knowledge than what we would be looking for. So that number would go down a little bit, but that number is just based on standby for those individuals being on call.
Any number you want to throw out there that you're going to be able to reduce the 2027 Hubar's contract?
The Huber's contract. So that's a good question. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'd rather talk to you offline about it, but my hope is to get rid of it altogether. I would like to get to a point where we have the 2 other Travises, or I say another Travis right now, and then have a networker kind of on call as needed, and then go back to the way it was when I first started here, and you were here, Alderman Rucker, so you can speak on it, but I was told that they were a 3.5 person shop, and I know there was some transition in there, but they had a pool of money that they would pull from, a lot like what Public Works is doing. And instead of paying a month-to-month charge for a monitoring service, have a pool of money, we hire them as needed. So I have my guys and gals under me. We address everything that we can, and then we have a list of approved vendors that when the time comes, we hire them as needed versus cutting a check.
You would visualize that would be the step, would be the next step once this third person is on board.
Yes, sir. That's the way I,
So there is a, I guess what I'm looking at is there's an upfront now, but potentially the overall budget for the IT and personnel and outsourcing would come back down possibly a little bit more in 2027.
yes, sir. And I hate to, we're halfway.
We can't nail it exactly, but that's kind of the.
Correct. That's my vision. And I've made it no secret with Huber. Listen, I've seen MSPs now for 2.5 years, and there's just some things that I think, I take the spending of taxpayers' money very seriously. And if I don't feel like the juice is worth the squeeze on what we're paying, then I have to find the best way forward. And I believe that is coming to you guys at the end of the Huber contract. Now, listen, there will always be a hybrid environment. We need somebody to manage the phone system because that's always a specialized circumstance. So what I see is we'll have an entity help us manage the phone system side, but then have a pool of money as needed as things break that we can't handle as a staff, and then go out in those situations. Versus right now we pay just $8,800 a month for Huber to monitor our system. And I hate to sound like I'm discounting what they're doing. That's not my intention right now. But that $8,800 can go a long way in the long run if I have a pool of money as needed. And then at the end of the year, maybe we didn't spend the $100,000. That's my vision moving forward. I haven't dialed it all in, but a change in philosophy is coming.
Well, it's not so much a change, it's kind of where we were, we kind of.
Yeah, as personnel and Travis, I'm gonna be honest. If Travis wasn't as great as he was, this one would probably be a lot different as well. But as long as I got him by my side, I think we can take a lot on.
So I'm all for getting you some help, but my question is back to Devin. Are there any other departments that are looking for any type of part-time assistance, secretarial, receptionist, administrative? Because we've had departments that have shared employees. So instead of doing 2 part-time positions, maybe we could get a full-time position that could split between IT and another department. I'm just curious, thinking outside the box.
There's nobody requesting any part-time positions right now.
But we do have, who shares employees right now?
This is a full-time position.
I know, but I'm saying, I'm all for getting them help, but if somebody in a part-time, well, then maybe we can try to split their duties between giving him part-time help and getting somebody else part-time help. Just throwing out some ideas.
You got 2 different disciplines.
I think it would be, especially for me, I'm going to be selfish right now to ask someone to learn what is, and I don't mean to discount anything anybody else does, but IT is in 2025, it's just a whole nother world. Somebody has to be in it, 100%. Not that I discount what you're saying in other situations, but for me personally, having someone half the time or one leg in and one leg out may be a detriment more than it is a benefit.
Just curious.
How many, you said you've got 800 tickets, is that average per year in the last 2 years?
And that is, and what I didn't say there, I got a little overwhelmed with all the numbers and stuff, is a lot of those tickets on our previous MSP's count was day-to-day checklist type stuff. So in the morning, they would log in and they would say server A is B. That's a ticket. Server B is up. These tickets are customer tickets, user tickets. 100% things that we are doing for the users in the city.
I can't get in my computer.
Yes, ma'am. And listen, we're beating staff up about tickets because I knew, we want to come and present raw data to you guys to let you know. And I don't know, the staff can speak for themselves, the difference between having Travis on staff and another employee versus outsourcing the help desk. Again, the philosophies change as needs for the city, but I think we're in a really, really good place right now, but we really do need the help currently.
Okay, Jeff, I'll turn it over to you for your 4, 5, 6.
We're supposed to be down to 6, right?
Yeah.
I'll make it really quick then. I think it's always, in my experience, been the hardest thing to do to justify a new employee in the administrative area. Because I think generally they're severely undervalued. So I have one person at Public Works facility that takes care of our administrative duties on a daily basis. She's doing a solid job, excellent job, and she's been great to work with. And there's more to do than one person can handle, and a team of 30, and I don't know what our budget is total, so we're paying, right? So you think about all the coding, the front desk, people coming to the window, the phone calls, just the employee things, setting up interviews, all the things that an administrative person does. There's currently more than one person to handle, and then we're going to be expanding that. Because now we have all the public works at the building and everything going through that. I've always looked at like the current position. That's our office manager. Right? That's the person that's taking care of us on a daily basis. Of all the things that we need to do on a daily basis, with no person to back her up. And so I believe an additional secretary would be extremely useful and helpful to our current administrative assistant. And then I don't know if I have to do much more to justify the tech positions in each of the divisions, more than I've already stated in the previous discussions we've had.
Can you back up a minute?
Sure.
Going back to the department secretary, your easiest pitch on that is in the absence of the current person who's filling that role, who basically sits in that seat.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
Did you what?
Say what?
Nobody.
We don't have a backup for that.
There is no backup. So,
No.
so if she's gone, basically.
And in fact, I've seen Devin go over there and answer the phone.
That was, the board directed that whenever that person was sick, on vacation, et cetera, that they be backfilled from the city clerk's department. That was a directive from the board last year.
Well, I don't know that background. My first reaction to something like that is, you're going to do that at what expense?
Did we not talk about this being a part-time position last year? Did that not make it through?
No, he didn't make it.
I don't think anything was ever decided. If there were discussions, I don't think anything was definitively said as far as the backup plan for that same position you're discussing.
Could this be a part-time position?
You could.
I'm just looking for flexibility.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
If we can't pay for this.
Backfilling it from other departments, so that just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, because you're sacrificing something to do that. If this person was down for weeks because of an injury or an illness, or just simply wanted to go on vacation for a week or two.
So before the city clerk's office, guess what? That means now the city clerk's office is short-staffed. And if it's a long-term absence, if she breaks her leg, she's out for a month, well, that means for a month, now we're down a member in a different department for a whole month. So then now there's more domino effect of people pitching in from other departments trying to cover it, and I just don't think that's a smart idea.
Well, we did that though, because that was justification on how we were able to get the, the assistant city clerk, or whatever that title was, that was for that person. I can't remember the title, but that was one of the provisions that was to do that, and also because there was a second person asked for in public works. I was in favor of it, and unfortunately, the majority of the board was not. And so this was a way to try to at least get somebody over there during the sick leave or vacation, or at least that time, that there would be that support rather than leaving that spot vacant. So,
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I can't afford to lose Keegan to go over and sit at that. I mean, I'm just telling you, right now she is so busy doing everything, helping. We're short-staffed up front. I don't see how we can even have her go over there and sit. I mean, I'm wholeheartedly against sending Keegan to sit there and answer a phone when there's some things coming down the pipe that you guys haven't even seen yet that I'm going to ask for some more stuff. So, I mean, I cannot lose her to go over there and sit
the board
down.
directed to be done last year.
I think you didn't vote on that. It was, you made a comment that it was, that you wanted that to be done, but it was not a directive that I'm going to have to go back and listen to it, but I don't remember it being in a directive.
At one point when we had a long-term utility billing clerk, there was a cushion for her, as in my department, to be able to go over and assist. We're kind of in limbo now. We do not have a well-trained long-term person. We're shorthanded, and it never came out of the clerk's department that I recall.
I don't
It was out of my department.
I support we need that, but I will tell you, last year that happened. Now, maybe we didn't officially vote on it, but that was the general consensus, and I truly thought we voted on that. That was, and to be very honest, to put the cards on the table, that was one of the ways I was able to get your position, your second position pulled, because I did some politicking between board members to say, hey, why don't will you support this if we do this? So I
don't
know what I
remember,
did
I'm
behind
sorry, I
the
don't
scenes.
remember, that. I remember you.
Well, you wouldn't have known that because
No.
that was behind the scenes
Well,
politicking I did.
but I do remember you bringing it up in the thing, but I don't think the whole board was on board with that, and it was something that we had that you guys had discussed, but I don't remember it ever being a vote coming down.
Well, I think it was a
I
discussion.
really don't. So it's never happened, that's all I'm saying,
Well,
and right now, I cannot vote for
It
it.
got cut with money. It didn't go to a vote. It got cut because of money.
I would like to say something. I have spoken many times with Stevie when I've stopped over at Public Works. And she wasn't complaining, but she said, Phyllis, I have just got to have more help. And there were 2 or 3 times I was there and Devin was filling in. And I said, what are you doing here? Well, Stevie needed time off. Steven said, I haven't even had a week-long vacation. She said, I'm just done. And I'm thinking, one of these days, we're going to lose her. I mean, who can put up with that? We definitely need somebody there to help her, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, she took a week off a few weeks ago. We just go. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Chris and I are down there in that same area. I don't know how many phone calls I took, I don't know how many phone calls Chris took, but we can't be there 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So we're missing phone calls for sure.
Well, I just like to say, I support this, but I do think we need to find out if this is a full-time or part-time position. And I don't know if that comes back from that study that's going on, or just from you being there this long, maybe.
If part-time would be plenty for Steve, but if it isn't, if it takes
I
2
support it either
full-time.
way, but let's just make sure.
I think by the time you start adding up all the hours that just add the hours of vacation that she's up. So you're gonna take a part-time person who normally works, say, 3 or 4 hours a day, because you're gonna have to cover, she's gonna have to work over lunch.
The big thing,
Vacation, it's gonna be very difficult with a part-time person with that current.
the big thing that I didn't mention is Cartograph. We have this great program that maybe we've had for a year and a half, I guess. And I have experience with Cartograph. We're not even tapping into its capabilities. We're barely scratching the surface, and we don't have anybody to champion that. So this person, if full-time, could champion that program and really take us forward like we need to be.
Jeff, I'm gonna.
I was gonna ask if it was a full-time person, could they do some of the data collection that?
Cartograph's that center of what they argue with Esri, so it would be extremely useful.
A lot of this conversation, Jeff, is not specific to you or your department. I have always preached wanting a succession plan in writing in the absence of key positions within the city. I've been harping on that for years, and I keep being told, we got to cover it. This is another example of, okay, Stevie breaks her leg. If the plan and director for the board was that we're going to pull something from the city clerk's office, that's great. Guess what? Maybe Keegan's on vacation at that same time. You can't plan and guarantee this person's going to fill in with this person. Right. So it brings up a bigger discussion that I've been harping on for a long time is, we can say in that person's absence, somebody from this department's going to fill in that role. But guess what? You can't dictate the department you're pulling from what that schedule is looking like. Whether those people are out on maternity leave, or this person's out, you know what I'm saying? It's a bigger conversation than just you, Jeff. You just have to be a catalyst for a lot of this discussion on part-time, full-time, who's covering what. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it.
That's right.
Do I need to, the only thing I'll say about the tech positions is it's real commendable that not just the superintendents, but their teams are extremely cautious about adding new employees. I could easily make a case, at least for Chris, to add 3 or 4, to propose 3 or 4 in this coming year. What they would like to do is add slowly, introduce new employees slowly to the team, maximize the resources before they suggest more. So it's one per division. I feel very good about that.
got two questions for you. One, are we fully staffed in all of these departments currently?
No, sewer's down 2 or 3? 2.
So,
And water's down 1.
I guess what I'm a little worried about is we're adding a position, we really have the positions filled that we have now. And
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, do these need to be prioritized, like sewer, water, transportation in order or something?
Water has been full for some time. I'll introduce our new project manager, Colton Wright, who was in the water division. That's the only reason they have a vacancy, and that just happened.
Okay.
Sewer, it's really hard to fill those vacancies. And even when we fill the 2, I can still make a case to you right now, we need 3 more.
Well, yeah,
So we're just proposing the 1.
What I'm just thinking we get to, I mean, you're adding 1 in each department. Do they need to be prioritized or is it, or?
Well, they're funded different.
They're all funded different. Okay, that was my question.
How much of those salaries are recouped from saving overtime? The people that would do that.
Well, it's a good question. Like I spoke to you earlier, it's hard to quantify that. We're getting 300 call-outs at least per year after hours because you have 1,200 stations that all need maintenance. I don't know how else to. It's not really about.
Yeah,
and I'll just say, I'm not even thinking about cost savings as much as cost control. Right? You're always going to spend money on these systems, right? So it's not really about saving money. It's more about how we control the costs and manage that. There's no way we're going to get into that PM mode without a lot of training, a few more employees, and being systematic about how we do it.
But if there were scheduled Saturdays that were being worked, that would be one day that you're not having getting call outs on.
What's that? I'm sorry.
If there was scheduled,
If you're scheduling your staff differently, that would reduce the number of call-outs. If you've got people working in the evening shift or a weekend shift.
Yeah.
Correct?
If you had a Saturday shift,
staggered your staffing.
I never had anybody ask me that.
With a new position that reduces overtime, that reduces call-outs, you've got somebody that is their designated shift.
Yeah, well, and you got the evenings, so you're just talking about a Saturday shift. I mean, you might minimize it on Saturday, but you still got 6 days a week, evenings and Sundays, so maybe there is some benefit to it.
Well, we're saying,
And I can look at
even
that.
a small savings, it's something to consider. If, hey, if we add a new position, maybe we mix up how the scheduling works with some of
It's
these.
gonna make it even harder to recruit, so one thing to think about going from that.
It was brought up last year and we ended up not going with it for some reason, but kind of the point was, well, you know, if your schedule is you work 1 weekend a month, that's just part of your
We
schedule.
can look at that. I don't
I
mind.
think it might be, I mean, I know nobody likes to work a Saturday either, but also whoever is not, if they have somebody on call for that Saturday, the rest of the guys don't have to worry that they're gonna get called, you know, I mean, that's
Well,
a benefit in it too.
okay, I will look into that. I will legitimately, will look into that. A lot of times in sewer in particular and water on occasion, it's more than one person. They've got a standby person on call too. Because they don't, in a lot of cases, it's not just one person. The first person goes, figures out what the problem is, and then they may have to call in another person. And sometimes more than one person.
But
I will tell you, one of the discussions that I had with previous people in your position, and I don't have the numbers now, but there were some rough numbers looked at, and I'm sure you're gonna do this, but when you start looking at when the call-outs are all there, and you say, okay, we're gonna put somebody on Saturday from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, and you look at X number of calls, that eliminates a very small amount.
Yeah.
Because then you got all the rest of the evening, you still got Sunday, so the amount of money that it can save us in overtime was always, and that's why I didn't push the issue 3 or 4 years ago when it came about, and then last year when it came about again. That was a very short thing, so that's why I'm not.
Yeah, I think those call outs were like, between 8 and 5 on Saturday. And, of course, we will look at the data because we have it, and I'll report back on that.
Well, just a suggestion, I think too, like, they don't have so many incoming calls, it could be like a day that they're doing cannons and, that kind of stuff or whatever.
I have brought crews in on Saturdays before to hear other places. If we have something we're behind on, we can do that. Anything else on the text? Thank you.
You want to talk about your interns real quick?
Oh, interns, data collection, 2 college interns. I did this in Green Valley and Belton. You get a lot of value out of a couple of college interns for a summer. Especially when you're talking about data collection, it gives them great experience. So I would highly suggest it's a good use of funds right there.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest maybe looking to do more of those even, because
Every
sometimes
year.
that's where you highlight employees that you can hire next too.
That's
Okay, do we want to continue on, or do we want to pick up with personnel tomorrow night evening?
That's it. Get out of here.
Get out of here?
I have to leave no later than 6:15.
Yeah.
Somebody out, so.
Yeah, we're gonna, everybody okay with that, Lee? Closing down tonight? Before we do, I'll make some notes, if you don't mind, if you'll bear with me, I'll make a few comments. Listening and giving my input, whether it's sewer department or water department, or whether it's IT or parks or police. One of the things that we gotta realize, we're a town of about 5,000 people right now. And we literally have, over the next couple of years, about $1 billion worth of development. One of the things that, when Devin came on board, I said, my main thing is if we have people on staff that need something to do, let's give them something to do. If they're overworked, let's give them some help. And she's done a nice job with that. And IT, he does it. Not only is he doing what he does with AI, with technology, with everything coming on board, if we could get to the point, we're talking about $50,000 for an extra employee, but if we can get rid of a third-party system that costs $100,000 a year, there's a $50,000 savings. If we're talking about another person in public works, if we can have another person to help Stevie out there, right now, a few years ago, we were spending almost $250,000 a year on chemicals in our seed system. Now we're putting in bugs for a fraction of the cost, there's $125,000 savings. One of the things with people coming down here, the smell, you see it on Facebook still, as good as it's getting, it's the smell, and it's not a matter of capacity, because we do have the ability to do it, but there's many variables that have affected the sewer system in the last few years. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, looking at my notes, I ran on pro-growth, pro-development, and also pro-family things, for things to do, not just tourism, but locals. The Parks Department, he's doing a nice job out there. The road, we're all the way back to the water, having canoe rides, there's only so much time. And with all the technologies going on, I think we need to keep in mind that we want to be full staffed. We want to make sure that people are well trained. We want to make sure that they're well compensated. We want people to like living here, working for the city of Osage Beach. We don't want to find out all of a sudden we got all this development and then we fall behind. We need to get forward of it. Even Alderman Ruff and I on the sewage board, we talk about what in 10 years, what are we going to do? We can't wait until 8 years and then, oh my gosh, we have a problem, we need to do it. So as we continue going forward, and we've had even local people that have ridiculed us in the past, saying, you guys are running like a well-oiled machine. I told you last week up on the dike, you guys are really running at full steam ahead. And now is not the time, I don't mean tax dollars, obviously, but to penny pinch. We don't want to wait until we get into a problem and have to correct it. We did that with sewer years ago, and we're starting to get back up to speed and get things going. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, now's not the time to sit back and penny pinch, and it's the taxpayer dollars, so we don't want to spend it frivolously, but with all the development coming in, that's going to be tax revenue. All the tax dollars are going to be tax revenue. So keep that in mind. If we're talking about a $50,000 salary for next year, but we can save $100,000 by doing that, in the long run, we're saving taxpayer money. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say without getting too long with it. I know it's only 6:12, but you're welcome to comment on that if we want to adjourn for the night. But I just want to
give you my vote.
I'll just say this, I think all this stuff is realistic and great presentations from everyone. Really just comes down to money. If you don't afford 10 apples and you want 12, you only get 10 apples. That's the only thing I would say.
Well, either you find another way to afford, you find some other revenue.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Well, that's also part of the reason I was bringing up some other ideas of maybe part-time, if we can't really afford a full-time here or there. Just thinking, it's always going to come down to the money. And so I'm not against anything that's been presented, it's just how can we possibly make that happen? It may not be 100% in on something, but at least we can try to get you somehow. So anyway, that's a lot of what I was saying with the helps. Everybody was, yeah, I'm all for it, it's just trying to make a dollar for it.
Well, in just closing, I just want to say from my department, you guys have been great and supportive. I'm not just saying that. So again, I appreciate what you guys have done for the department throughout all the changes. I mean that.
One last thing that I have is the trick that I did with my budget throughout my years. Always ran to never had enough money. Sometimes I would not take that, and I'll just use IT for example. Maybe the way we solve IT problem is we say, we can't afford that, okay? But we can afford half of it. So don't bring that person on board until halfway through the year. So I don't have to have a full year of that salary. And that could be any of the positions that we talk about. That is another way to skin a cat. And I use it a lot of times that, and then obviously the following year, I knew I'd have the full year, but, I was an organization that was growing, and I had increased revenue and stuff. I was growing. So that was a way that I was able to, part-time is a way sometimes, but this was another way that I could grow the department.
Sounds like a trip.
It worked.
Gray area.
It worked.
Kevin in the gray area. Wow.
All right. Hey, my last question is, are these tables staying up?
Yes, everything's staying here.
Devin, everything else?
Oh, that's it.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
is there
a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.